Good afternoon! Hey, happy Monday! Gosh, I feel like we're getting ready to go into battle right now. Sheesh,
Then
Russ.
I've done my job well.
Our battle music is different.
You know what? This is very like entering Big Ten battle. I mean, it's not Pac-12 battle. This is, it's got a different feel to it. You got to have a little bit of like, it's got to be a workout vibe, like a Pac-12 Media Day week was like the Beach Boys. This is more.
I want to take you down to Kokomo.
Yeah, this is more Vision Quest, Rocky, blood sport that you're entering now when you enter Big Ten country.
There we go. Let's get fired up.
Yeah, Karate Kid.
Oh, just you wait. That's next hour.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a little bit different.
That's next hour.
Hot damn. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's get fired up.
Everybody have a good weekend?
Absolutely.
Good weekends, everyone? All the way around?
Yeah.
All right.
Headed down to the coast.
Ooh.
No way. You went down to the coast?
I know,
No
it's so
way.
weird. That
You
never
went-
happens.
No way. Rust went to Manzanita.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jewel of the Oregon coast.
How was the weather out there? We had thunder and lightning here on Sunday morning.
We
Sunday
did
morning?
as well, and it was Sunday morning, yesterday morning. And it rolled through the coast first before it got here.
Yeah, a lot of rain.
Morning?
What
What is this morning you speak
Yeah,
of?
you don't know. It was probably all dried up by the time you came out of your cave.
Yeah.
What time did you see daylight yesterday?
9?
No, oh, that's not that bad.
9?
It was-
9:30?
You probably saw a little bit of those remnants, huh?
I got the blackout curtains everywhere.
We got those in our room.
No, I legitimately.
No, he has them everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. No, we did get new blinds, which, my God, they're wonderful. And my wife's like, I don't know, maybe they're a little
Wait,
too dark. And I
That's
went,
old. That's an old person like, we got new blinds
Yeah.
and God, these are great.
Well, the thing was, the old ones, number one, they sucked. They were I think they were like the original blinds.
Are
They
these
were
the special soundproof ones so the neighbors don't hear the screams?
Well, yeah, obviously, but no, they
People are wondering.
they I don't know how to put this. They seal, like, so when you close them, like, they eliminate the light
Oh, yeah.
entirely.
That's great.
And so, because we have this giant bay window in the living room, that if you're watching a show like between 4 and 9, some sort of glare would come through the blinds.
Don't
And it
want
was just
that.
very irritating.
Can't have that.
And now we don't have to deal with that.
You don't have that at all.
But I just pretty much leave them closed all the time now, and it's great because now my house is like a cave.
Hey,
I like my little bat cave.
all right. All right. So we had the beach. We had a bat cave. I had a going away party for one of my good buddies and his family. They're moving to Arkansas.
Willfully, huh?
On purpose?
Yeah. On purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He works for Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at Walmart.
There's a huge difference
Big
there.
distinction.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear the blue vest.
The blue
No,
vest.
he works
He's
for,
not
not at
rolling back
Walmart.
prices.
He's not inside the front door greeting you,
No. Though,
making sure you don't shoplift.
I mean, there is job security there. He
There
can
is.
stay within the Walmart family for until he dies. I mean, that is some security there. But no, he's moving to beautiful Bentonville, Arkansas, here at the end of the month, and so we had a going away party for them.
You and I talked about this
Went a little
off air
deep.
last week,
Went a little deep.
and as olds do, we looked at the real estate in Bentonville,
Yeah,
and we were blown away by what you can get in
tell ya.
Arkansas.
yeah. You can get a lot. You can get a lot for not
Not
that
that
much.
much.
Well, I remember before old Crazy Eyes McGinley moved away from here. Yeah, he was showing
Yeah.
me stuff in, what was it, Alabama, I think he
Yes.
moved to. It's like, wow. Yeah, you can get a lot for a little.
Turns out, you
But then,
can-
of course, you're living in Alabama.
Yeah, and I had this conversation with him. There's a lot of people that you can die because of the bugs in Arkansas because they've got a lot of animals that can kill you there. They got the bugs, the spiders,
snakes,
they got the snakes,
hogs.
Sure,
Hogs.
pig suey,
Huh?
Yeah, 50 feral hogs,
sure.
right? Wasn't that where that
Yes.
was?
Yes.
Yep,
Also, hog hunting in Arkansas, there is no limit.
yeah.
That's how
They're everywhere, man.
they're just.
Master P, no limit soldiers
yeah.
when it comes to hunting those hogs.
I legitimately know somebody who did a helicopter hog hunt in Arkansas.
Yeah. I had a buddy whose bachelor party was to go hog hunting in Texas,
Did
and
they
I
do
was
the
like,
nighttime one with night vision?
"Yeah, they did."
pretty badass.
Yeah, they did. And there was a lot of, it didn't seem fair. And I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah. Night vision, automatic weapons, helicopters. Enjoy.
Yeah. I somehow missed on that one,
Yeah.
but sorry guys, catch you at the wedding. You know?
Well, Charles Barkley had a different definition of hog hunting.
I'd rather go to San Antonio with them big old women.
But it just brought up the conversation this weekend of, look, it's a safe place to live here because you don't have to like, we don't have that many things that'll kill you. I mean, just you got the
Just one Danny
lions.
Meringue.
Yeah, and a meringue.
That's true.
I mean, a rich tradition of serial killers. Ted Bundy, anybody, you know? I mean,
Who's the Green River?
I don't know.
I don't that one.
I don't know. He dabbled in Oregon though, but you know, we don't have a lot of animals. Gary Ridgway. We don't have a lot of animals that'll kill you out here. You know, just like stay away from the cougars.
Yeah.
And the spiders really aren't that big of an issue.
There's some
Southern
bears
Oregon,
out
Eastern
there, some
Oregon.
black bears.
Yeah, but those aren't, you know, we're not commingling. We're not commingling with them.
Valid point.
You know, they mind their own business. I mean, when's the last time we had like a bear attack in a city? We don't have that.
Nope.
You don't. So it's a nice place to live. We're just waiting on the big earthquake still. We just
It's coming anytime.
any minute between now and 500 years from now, that big one is gonna happen. So it's not that bad.
It actually might not be that far off too, because I
got
get
tornadoes there too.
I get Twitter notifications from the I don't remember if it's the National Weather Service or what, but for earthquakes around the region and whether or not to expect a tsunami. And like last week, for 4 or 5 days straight, there was just frequent ones like about 100 miles southwest of Port Alice, British Columbia.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real close by.
Ring
of fire.
Ring of fire.
Ring of fire.
Yeah, here's a Vancouver Ford text line. I know people that live around Bentonville and Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they rave about it. They say we should keep laughing at them, but it's actually a great place. Fayetteville is consistently voted one of the best college cities in America. Okay, yeah, no.
I'll keep laughing at them.
Well, no, here's the thing, though, is that Walmart knew. They're like, we just can't move people out here and have it just be like normal Arkansas. So they pumped a lot of money into the city of Bentonville, and I've heard it is fantastic as well. I've heard it's great out there, and I'll visit sometime, but I'll take their word for it until then.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you know, it's a great place to live. Well, whatever, you know.
Salute.
God bless you.
Have you?
See ya. All right. Ooh. We need the update, Danny. How's your dynasty going on college football?
It's going well. We've improved. We've played
the
through
Houston Cougars.
The Houston Cougars. We played through 2 whole seasons.
Yeah.
We weirdly enough in year 2, the Charlotte 49ers made the college football playoff. They got themselves a lot of transfers.
There we go.
And we boat raced them. And then we ran into Florida. And apparently Florida found every track star in the country.
Yep. That'll happen. Speed kills, bud.
My corners didn't stand a chance. We're still working on recruiting that back end speed.
Yeah.
We got some 91, 92 speed. We got some good speed. Florida had 3 wide receivers with 97 or higher
speed.
So
you're struggling right there.
Yeah, I got beat over the top, had to play real deep. Had to keep everything in front of us, and even then we still broke. But we made the college football playoff.
All right, hey, good way to go.
Like
Way to go! I got a buddy who's doing the I don't know what it's called, where you do the create a player and
the road to glory.
Road to glory. And he was like, he goes, playing corner in this game's like real life. Like it is hard.
It's tough.
It's really really hard.
I made a mic, and I got rolled. I had one the other day where it was absolutely hilarious. I went to Phil and I got I tried to swim over, and the animation was fantastic.
Was he built like a little butt plug?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's just like a little guy.
Yep, 5'10", 235, baby. It's me. And I got literally the guard. The animations are incredible in this game. Yeah. The guard literally put both hands under my pads and threw me. Just yeeted me, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me?"
I'll tell you, that is one thing that game has done a really good job of is that they have the comedy of some of the people. There's a guy who's doing the Road to Glory, and he's a running back, and there's a video. He's a streamer, and there's a video of him getting put in at slot receiver, and he's like, no.
Got no
he
hands.
Just has no idea what to do at any point, and the ball just he melted down through the controller. Controller tosses are back. I think that's why they brought back college football, because
controller
that
were down.
game is the most controller thrown game of all time,
easily,
hands down. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's tough.
All right,
it's tough, but we're doing well.
So going back to the old Gary Ridgway here, coming to us from the old Vancouver Ford text line. Dark fact about the Green River Killer. One of his victims was Martell Webster's mother.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
And so I did a quick Google search, and apparently, they never found her body, but she is believed to be one of his victims.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Good Lord.
On the brighter side, somebody asked how my kicking game is in college football 25. Miserable. My kicker at Houston is terrible.
Boy, that was a pivot.
Yeah,
I was getting off the serial killer. It's getting a little too close to home.
I was just no.
That was quite the.
I think I just got swatted on the nose with a newspaper.
Okay,
but no, kicking in that game. I played Colorado in the Big 12 championship.
I feel like we're getting a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, that's what I said. I had to pivot away.
He's just like, I
whoa,
have to. No. Kicking.
Yeah.
Kickers.
Yeah, it was
Everybody
Gary
hates
Ridgway.
kickers.
That's who it was.
But yeah, it's I missed 3 field goals in the Big 12 title, and one because I made a field goal.
See, and
It's
there
tough.
we go.
It's very tough.
And this is why the most common term on any football team in America is
Never trust kickers.
effing kickers. Effing kickers.
Yeah, I was missing like 30-yard chip shots.
Hey,
it was tough.
You have to be more mentally tough than that.
My kicker is atrocious.
Who cares?
Yeah, it was like
you need a corner, not a kicker.
I do. No, you need both. Need both for sure. But no, they make it like I have all the settings like tuned all the way up with a bunch of sliders to like make it as real as possible. And
yeah,
it's humbling.
Yeah.
Very, very, very like when you play a team that has superior talent, like a Florida or God, I played Georgia. There's no hope.
Okay. Well, so it's like real life.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Real life. Like, there's just no hope. Like they had a pass rusher who was like a 97 overall in year 2, and my poor sophomore left tackle was just getting thrown.
What are you
gonna
do?
Like,
you're getting into this. This is perfect for you.
No, it is.
A little tease for later. We have fun with audio.
Indeed.
Because now major sports networks are getting in on this action. Because you were talking about it like this is your real life.
No, yeah, it's fantastic.
Like the suffering is happening in front of you, and the networks are getting in on it. So we got a little fun with audio. That we actually have a lot of audio.
This is what happens when you're deprived of this wonderful game for a decade.
That is true. That is true.
It's true.
And now, look, we're right around the corner. It is Big Ten Media Days this week. Days. That was plural. It's 3 days.
Multiple. They have that many days, and they still don't have any kind of organization.
Swigard is hitchhiking to Indianapolis as we speak.
En route. Got his.
John Denver's full of S, man.
Yeah, well, he's got his bag full of 6-minute abs too.
Yep, he's hitchhiking there right now. Tomorrow we will have interviews from Big Ten Media Days. The first wave of schools. If you're wondering, Oregon and Washington are on the final day.
Of course.
So we got to wait till Thursday for them. But they do the slow rollout. There's 54 student athletes that are going to be there.
What's what happens when you have 18 schools?
Hot damn.
The Big Ten.
So we will start Big Ten Media Days. Today we also have Fun with Audio Team USA, where Gilbert Arenas, whoa, bud.
My God.
I mean, this was aggressive. Gilbert Arenas.
There's a couple other times. Can you say that?
No.
Oh, hey,
no.
One real quick thing, heading back to Big Ten Media Days. This kind of breaking news. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be blowing out Colin Cowherd. Dirt and Sprague live 6 to 10 and us live 10 to 3.
There we go.
There you go.
That's what we're doing. We will be on 10 to 3 and for Wednesday and Thursday. So get your Swatch watches set. Get your pocket watches set. Set a reminder. No Colin on Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be a Big Ten Media Day palooza. So giddy up, Buttercup.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Team USA, we will have to discuss that. And then the Portland Trailblazers wrapped up their summer league over the weekend as well. And Donovan Clingan. How are we feeling about Donovan Clingan now? We're going to revisit a poll we had earlier when you were down in summer league. I want to revisit that poll on how people feel about Donovan Clingan as the Blazers wrapped up their summer league without him on yesterday. They played in Houston. Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. But in between now and then, we got a lot of news, including some baseball stuff, a lot of great baseball stuff, and college football. But it is Big Ten Media Days that are coming up, and we have preseason poll that has been released. Who will win the Big Ten? You can go to @DannyDusty and vote. Next on The Fan. You can go to Danny and Dusty on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, and you can vote. Some are saying maybe the most important vote you cast this year. I don't know. I've just heard that.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's the most impactful one.
Nothing else really going on. But we do have a poll that is up. You can respond in the comments as always. But we took the top 4 from the USA Today media poll, and it's also the top 4 from the Cleveland.com media poll of Big Ten preseason football, because the conference itself doesn't do it. They don't play those games. They don't say we are going to pull the media here at our media days like, I don't know, every other conference in the country does. They say, no, you guys can do it on your own. The top 4 vote getters in both the USA Today and the Cleveland.com preseason polls are tied for 3rd, Penn State and Michigan. You have Oregon, which in the USA Today media poll received 5 first-place votes. In the Cleveland.com media poll, they received 6 first-place votes. And Ohio State, which received 8 first-place votes by USA Today and 21 by Cleveland.com. Go ahead and vote, because we need all of these votes to count, and they all matter. Who will win the Big Ten? The Big Ten preseason media poll does in fact have the Oregon Ducks second, according to USA Today, only behind Ohio State. Michigan and Penn State tied for 3rd, USC at 5th, Iowa 6th, with Wisconsin, Nebraska, Washington go 7, 8, 9. Rutgers rounding out the top 10 in the Big Ten. The bottom half of the conference looks as follows: Maryland, Michigan State at 12 in Jonathan Smith's first year, Minnesota 13, UCLA 14, Illinois, Indiana, Northwestern, and Purdue rounding out the Big Ten voting.
That sounds about right.
You'd think.
I think Indiana being down that far was a bit surprising.
No, they got Cignetti, the head coach from James Madison, just came over.
Mm-hmm.
They got pillaged in the portal. They didn't have a lot of talent there to begin with last year. Indiana down at the bottom is not good. And look, the only difference between Cleveland.com is really at the bottom of the poll, where they flip-flop Iowa and Michigan at 5 and 6, where Iowa's 5th and Iowa and USC. Iowa's 5th, USC is 6th, which they're just banking on defense in the Big Ten. It's the Big Ten defense,
it
right?
Plays.
And then at the bottom, you have UCLA, Northwestern 14, UCLA 15, Michigan State in the Cleveland.com poll is 16. And then Indiana at 17, Purdue at 18.
I think Aiden Childs and Jonathan Smith are going to be surprising there, even with all the changes and everything else. I think that conference, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, is going to be surprised by the level of quarterback play coming into that conference.
I agree with that. I agree, and I think Jonathan Smith is too good of a head coach to be that bad, but they are not going to be good because of what happened in the portal.
Yeah.
Over 2 years in the portal at Michigan State, with the defections after the Mel Tucker stuff, and then you have the full overhaul with Jonathan Smith coming in. He did bring a lot of talent from Oregon State with him, including Aiden Childs at quarterback, and that's one of the most important positions in all of sports. So you do have a quarterback, but Aiden Childs still unproven. And that is kind of the story of quarterback play in the Big Ten this year, is you've got some guys, but either they're new faces on a roster or they just haven't played very much football.
Or they're new teams to a new conference.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that when you look at the way the Big Ten media is looking at the new additions to the conference, I think that Michigan State and Jonathan Smith, they will be better than what people anticipate, because coaching does matter.
Yep.
Even from a talent discrepancy standpoint, coaching does matter, and when you play them will have a massive difference in the way that Michigan State team looks at the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But I also think Washington kind of being pegged in that middle of the pack, right, at 9th and 10th in the two respective polls that have come out. Jed Fish is a hell of a football coach.
Yeah.
Now, Washington was a product of an elite coach and elite weapons, especially on the offensive side of the football for UW. But Jed Fish, I think, in Washington will surprise some people because, look, they're kind of stuck in this mix of Rutgers with Greg Schiano in a slow build. Nebraska will start a true freshman quarterback in Dylan Raiola, who's a 5-star quarterback and has a lot of, hype coming in around him. But Jed Fish is going to kind of slowly but surely. He went out in the transfer portal. He plucked himself a veteran quarterback from Mississippi State that he feels can come in and play right away and kind of guide the ship. It'll be, all right, how good are the sum of their pieces as the season goes on? I think what we look at, though, in the Big Ten is very similar to what the Pac-12 was. It is going to be top-heavy, and the teams that are really good are going to be really damn good. The middle of it is going to be it's going to be a tight race in the middle of the Big Ten this year because I thought the Pac-12 was deeper than what people gave it credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, 100%.
The last 2 years, the Pac-12, the middle of that conference,
better
was
than
really damn good.
Not even better than most. It's probably better than every other conference in the country.
And this is where I think the Big Ten is Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, SC. Those are 5 teams right there that on any given Saturday, they will give you fits.
Yes.
Iowa, from just the sheer talent they have on the defensive side of the football, they're going to be playing same old Iowa football, but hopefully they have
and white, another white corner.
Yeah. Hopefully they can figure out some semblance of offense. I don't have a ton of faith in that.
I'll tell you what, who else doesn't have faith? College Football 25. The Iowa offensive coordinators been fired both years. I've been in that.
All right, there you go.
Even the video games are out on Iowa coordinators.
But SC is the antithesis of what Iowa is, right? Where their offense is going to be loaded again this year. Miller Moss at quarterback after a great Holiday Bowl and the preparations. He had rave reviews coming into the Holiday Bowl and out of the Holiday Bowl that he could be the next great quarterback for Lincoln Riley at USC. But it is, on the flip side, they had to overhaul their entire defense and their entire defensive staff. So, how long does that transition take? How quickly can they become a serviceable defense?
Which is insane, but yes.
Not good,
serviceable.
Not just an absolute disaster on that side of the football, which is what they were
threw
the
up on
last
themselves again.
handful of years.
Yeah.
With Michigan, the turnover, 18 draft picks.
Their entire offense, with the exception of the running back, and can Sharon Moore get it done as the head coach? Can Alex Orji, which will certainly have old Gus excited about the end zone?
Yeah, no, that's RG3.
Oh, that's right. There's RG3.
That was RG3.
Yes,
with an all-timer.
Which it's up there on the.
It's an orgy in the end zone.
He wasn't wrong. He was technically correct, and that's the best kind of correct. Donovan Edwards at running back, but they're even with sending so much of that defense to the NFL, they've still got another dude on the front end, and they've got a tight end who's an absolute monster.
And I think you look at the top 4 teams. It's kind of starting at Michigan and going up. This is the power of recruiting forward and stacking your recruiting classes one after the other. Is that there's always going to be talent, right? It's like Arrested Development. There's always money in the banana stand.
Yep.
Right? You always got something hidden away on your roster. And look, the head coach leaving, that is huge. J.J. McCarthy gone, that is huge. Roman Wilson being absent from that offense, that is going to be a big miss. But as you said, if you recruit forward, there is talent there. Same thing with Penn State, right? Penn State and Drew Aller. Drew Aller was dynamite against anybody that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Can he take the next step this year and be that quarterback that you kind of look at and say, all right, he can elevate the people around him against good teams, especially?
I had a friend of mine who's a Big Ten guy who said, why do quarterbacks keep convincing themselves that going to Penn State is good for them? It feels like you're Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar and you're just screaming through the dimensions, no, don't do it, it's not good for you.
Right. But then you got guys like Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah, Hackenberg. Yeah.
He was really good at Penn State. And there was like, he's going to be top pick in the draft. It's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. I think he was second-round pick.
Yeah, and he did not last.
He did not last in the NFL. But they've stacked talent kind of everywhere else. And James Franklin is a guy who has squeezed talent out of his roster, but they've never been as deep as everybody else in the conference, and that shows up in those big games against Ohio State and Michigan. And now you have, oh, by the way, more good teams that are joining the conference with Oregon, Washington, USC, and I guess UCLA.
They're another team that's joining.
Deshaun Foster.
And
And
then
then
another team that's joining. That's what they are.
they're here.
Yeah.
They're here. But then you have Oregon and Ohio State at 1 and 2, and it kind of feels like the hype that is around both of those teams and both of those rosters. You look at it and you say a lot of the talent that is there has either proven themselves in Columbus and in Eugene, or they've proven themselves somewhere else and they've found a good landing spot. Both those teams have recruited very well over the last handful of years, and they've stacked their transfer portal. I mean, that's the fun part about the transfer portal being open is you can fill the holes on your roster and your weaknesses. And some of them, whether it's Marcus Harmon, who transferred from Michigan State to Oregon this year. I mean, you got a guy who's in the middle, who's experienced Big Ten football before. There's familiarity across the board. Hell,
It's helpful.
Purdue's quarterback played for Will Stein in high school at Lake Travis High School. Hudson Card was Will Stein's quarterback at Lake Travis High School.
Turns out Lake Travis High School, pretty good.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson was their number one receiver.
God.
Garrett.
Hey.
I was in.
Some talent.
I'll never forget Will Stein dropped the, hey, I used to coach high school football. I was just like you guys. And then he flips on film, and it was like indoor practice facility
With Hudson Card and
a
Garrett Wilson.
quarterback with a howitzer for an arm, and this receiver that you're going, what is that guy? Because he looks like a mutant.
Yeah. Turns out, he was. He was an absolute mutant of a wide receiver.
No, this isn't the same, man.
No.
This isn't the same.
Not a lot of those in Oregon. Rufio points out, have you seen Rutgers' recruiting class? They're doing work much higher than traditionally average.
Absolutely.
I will say,
Shiano man.
Not just that. Rutgers has found the magic sauce to the NIL, not just football, but in basketball as well, bringing in 2 of the top 5 prospects in the country in basketball.
Ooh.
So it's not exactly a coincidence that all of a sudden Rutgers is getting guys. As much as we say it's like NIL doesn't matter, NIL doesn't matter. I mean, it does. For a team like Rutgers, it matters more than you could possibly imagine, because they went from like, we're not the worst.
Yeah.
In football, and also ran in basketball, to having, again, 2 of the 5 highest rated recruits in college basketball, and getting a couple top 300 recruits in football.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going back to the well, be like, we are the original blue blood. Rutgers football's been around
Forever.
forever.
Ever. Weren't they like one of the founding 12 teams or something?
Yeah, I think Rutgers' first football game.
It's like 1912, isn't it?
Yeah. 1869.
Good God.
Princeton versus Rutgers. It was the first football game.
So yeah, they are the legitimate blue blood.
Yeah. The Rutgers Queensmen won 6-4.
Wow, you went from the Queensmen to the Knights?
Scarlet Knights.
It's kind of
not just the Knights.
I know,
the
but
Scarlet
I mean
Knights.
that's kind of a drop off. You go from Queen to Knight?
Yeah, but I mean, look, nobody wants to be the Queensmen. This is America, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Get
rid of the royalty.
We did not.
We were only, you think about it, we're only that game was 120 years removed from Britain?
This is.
That's nuts.
We're not. We did
113
not
years.
win a Revolutionary War, and
To
we
have-
did not
to have
have
monarchy?
Independence Day to be the Queensmen, for God's sake.
America.
That's what I'm talking
Also,
about.
Kingsman.
Yeah. Why not the Kingsmen?
Yeah, don't settle for less.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
What are we doing
I'm not
here?
saying women are less. I'm just saying the king is more powerful.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right.
King overrules the queen always.
Well, they're the Queen's men, though.
So they're lesser.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even queens.
I mean, even the Kingsmen, you're lesser than the king. So the Scarlet Knights, you're just going out murdering folks. Doesn't
Which-
matter, king or queen.
Adding the scarlet means it's bloody, right?
That's right.
Bloody Knights.
All right, who you voting for to win the Big Ten this year? On the Danny and Dusty official poll, get your vote in.
Oof, that's
Get your
tough.
vote in. Get your vote in. Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, or other.
Let's legit question marks for every single one of them.
Yeah. Well, and it could come down to Ohio State and Oregon playing in
Yeah,
October in Eugene.
Or Oregon playing at Michigan.
Oregon playing at Michigan on November 2nd. Those things matter. All right, the votes as it currently stands now, Oregon, 71% of the vote. I wonder why.
Shocking.
Ohio State is at 25.7%. Michigan, 2.9%. Nobody with faith in the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, you shouldn't.
That's actually true.
Just throwing that out there.
All right. Okay. All right, we'll get to that then. All right, 503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. We'll get to some of your feedback as the show goes on, and we need to talk about this because you mentioned it. Quarterback play in the Big Ten is gonna be a doozy. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the Portland Trailblazers Summer League as they wrapped up Vegas Summer League over the weekend. A blowout loss on Friday night with Donovan Clingan, and wrapping it up with a win over the Houston Rockets last night without Donovan Clingan. First is Rust with SportsCenter.
This is a Big Ten Media Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge. Online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on The Fan. After dropping 2 of 3 to the Astros over the weekend, the Mariners start a 3-game set with the Angels at T-Mobile Park. Bryce Miller on the bump for Seattle. Tyler Anderson for L.A. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners tied with the Astros for the American League West lead. The M's have placed first baseman Ty France on outright waivers. Since returning from the injured list with a hairline fracture in his right heel, France has hit just 159 with 1 home run and 4 RBI in 102 plate appearances. Rookie Tyler Locklear is expected to take over at first base. As the Packers begin training camp today, quarterback Jordan Love has told the team he won't practice until he gets a contract extension. GM Brian Gutekunst says it's possible they could agree to a deal in the next few days. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting free agent guard Spencer Dinwiddie has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Mavericks. And on the ice, the Winterhawks announced Mike Johnson will step away from his role as head coach, but has signed a 4-year extension to remain with the team as president and general manager. Longtime assistant Kyle Gustafson will take over as head coach. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has new shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Hey, it's Isaac.
Portland Trail Blazers wrapped up Summer League yesterday with a win over the Houston Rockets, 105-95. No Donovan Clingan in that game. They shut him down. They said, young man, you did a great job.
Yeah, Game 5 is also the way that Summer League's set up now. It's kind of an agent favors kind of a deal.
Okay.
That's when you get guys out there who you're gonna help them out and help them get some tape to put out there. You've got your guy who's now played 4 games in a week who has never done that before at this level.
And that was like yesterday was a great example of what you're talking about with Kennedy Chandler, who he got his yesterday, and he tried that game 1.
Yeah, no, Kendrick Davis.
Kendrick Davis
was the one who did it in game 1, and
Kendrick Davis.
Yeah, he got the memo when he got moved to the bench as Chandler took over as point guard. That was a real thing that happened. Davis
Chandler looked good though.
Look, they're both 5'11".
Mm-hmm.
For those on the radio audience, I'm air quoting very hard. I'm the same size as both of them.
Okay.
Height, not weight. But to be able to hoop at 5'10", like at any level, like beyond high school, is insane. I heard somebody say this the other day, this is a total squirrel moment. Think about how ridiculous Muggsy Bogues must have been.
I know.
To play at 5'3".
I know. And
not just play, like be
able
good.
To get to the rim too.
And be a dogged defender.
Yeah.
I mean, at 5'3", you are a foot shorter than Damian Lillard, who is a small guard. That's such an insane thing to me. So, but back to the Summer League guys. Chandler got the memo when he started for the rest of the Summer League session. Did a much better job of setting guys up. And then yesterday you had those guys get out there and get their opportunities.
Well, obviously no Donovan Clingan, and then no Justin Minaya, which tragically his mother passed away over the weekend. Who I was just watching the Yankees and Rays game. They did a moment of silence because his dad Omar is an executive for the New York Yankees, and Justin Minaya's mom passed away at their New Jersey home on Saturday.
Yeah,
and God. Thoughts and prayers out to Justin Minaya, but not in the lineup.
No, he's a great dude, and you just hate to see stuff like this happen to him.
But Donovan Clingan, let's get back to Clingan, because he kind of lived up to all of the expectations that folks were hoping to see. All of the things you were hoping to see out of Donovan Clingan. You got a little bit of it. You didn't get the scoring burst because, again, that's not who he is coming out of college, and that expectation probably shouldn't be there for Donovan Clingan at this point. No. But he played really, I mean, on the defensive end, it was exactly what you hoped and wanted to see.
I would say offensively, he's exactly where I thought he would be. I had real questions about the offense. He had stellar talent around him offensively. He had 4 guys that were major contributors of that UConn team, where his ability to be a factor offensively was, I'm going to be bigger than all of you, and I'm just going to clean stuff up. And he was very efficient in that. When he was asked to do anything outside of that box, it was tough for him. That development, it's going to be interesting to track this year. But defensively, he was actually even a little bit better than I thought he would be. Typically, bigs come to Summer League, and the first thing they struggle with is, number one, the fouls. He averaged less than 3 fouls a game. He had more blocks per game, 4.3, which is a Summer League record, than he did fouls at, was it 2.7? 2.8. He had less than 3 fouls a game and had more than 4 blocks per game. So a guy that is not chasing blocks, but operating as a rim protector isn't fouling. So it tells you, number one, his timing is very good. It tells you his verticality is very good. He knows when to jump, when to stay down, doesn't reach.
I thought a lot of great things, too, were shot adjustment even when he wasn't getting hand on ball. And then after each game, he was talking about, I still need to work on that timing. Mm-hmm. My timing needs to be better on those floaters through the lane because guys are just so much more polished in creating that extra space. But still deterring shots was something that now a lot of them fell. But it's exactly what you want to see from a guy like Donovan Clingan in his introduction to the NBA. Shot creators and shot finishers are going to be far better come November.
Yeah.
But right now, I thought it was a very good kind of introduction to him in NBA style of play.
Look, the last time the Blazers brought a big to Summer League was Zach Collins, and I wanted to rinse my eyes out with bleach.
Well, and we had the historic fouling game of Greg Oden, his first summer league game, where I
Fouled
think it was no, they didn't foul out then.
Greg
But he had
the Greg Oden rule.
He had like 9 or 10 fouls in that game.
I think it was 12. So Dwight Howard and Greg Oden were both the reasons for that rule existing. I believe Channing Frye also did too.
Oh, hey,
because Channing was on the broadcast. I believe he was mentioning that the other day. But yeah, I thought Donovan was a slight bit better defensively than I thought he was going to be, and he was a tick worse offensively than I thought he would be, and I didn't really have much of an expectation for him offensively. I think he's got to slow things down on the offensive end when he has the ball in the paint. When he's outside the paint operating as a passer, he looks like he's already there. He looks like he's already he's not Jokic, but he's a plus passer kind of in waiting. Defensively, it wasn't just protecting the rim. Like even if he did park his butt in the paint, there were a couple plays that he made outside the paint, whether it was blocking the 3-point attempt in game 3 that got them the win, or it was blocking Jared McCain on the 19-foot pull-up. Like, he operated defensively. He had one against Charlotte where he ended up getting called for a foul. It was not a foul. Absolutely not. But the ball gets hit ahead. He books it from the dash at the inbound spot and flies across the paint and pins it at the top of the glass, and it gets a little bit of his hand on the follow-through. And I'm sitting there going, that's a block, guys. What are we doing here? Like, if you get somebody's hand as you block the ball through to the rim, that's a block. The hand is ball. But I mean, other than that, he flashed some defensive stuff that I was like, all right. There's even more
I think
there.
one thing people were hoping for was his footwork would not be an issue, right? He would not be a cement-footed, stiff,
No,
big.
defensively, his footwork is good.
There were times in the first couple of games where it was like,
rushed.
Okay, where are we at here? And it made him look a little clumsy. I thought he settled in. I don't think that's going to be a worry at all.
I think it was more happy feet from being nervous than anything else.
I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to throw this poll back up. I threw this poll up when you were down in Vegas on the Monday after his Summer League debut. Donovan Clingan made his Trailblazers debut on Saturday. Options were already love him, solid start, need to see a lot more, or oh no. I'm going to throw that same poll up because I want to see what you believe and what the people believe after seeing Donovan Clingan throughout his entire Summer League.
Okay.
All right?
I like it.
We'll get to that next. This is Danny and Dusty on The Fan.
Thanks to our fans.
All right, we have resubmitted the poll from the beginning of Summer League. Donovan Clingan and the Trailblazers have wrapped Summer League now. We're revisiting this poll on the number 7 pick. Already love him? Solid start. Need to see a lot more. Or, oh no. Go and vote. Go and vote. At Danny and Dusty. What is your thought on Donovan Clingan, 7th overall selection?
I think he came out and established exactly what I hoped he would, which was game 1, look the way that he did, show real flashes, and then game 2, show improvement. Game 3, show improvement. Game 4, show improvement. I think he legitimately improved every single game, which it's an absolutely incredible kind of point. This again, I hate throwing him under the bus, but Zach Collins was an absolute tire fire in the 2017 Summer League. He did not look like any semblance of an NBA player. It was horrendous. I remember just like peeling the skin off my face like, you're kidding me. You traded up for this?
Yeah, man.
And it got better, so to speak, but he was never and has never been more than like a really good backup big. Where Donovan Clingan, you can see the framework for the thing that will hold him back. It's not his offense. It's can he play 30 minutes? That's the thing we didn't get an answer to. Because he played like 26 minutes a game, which is still more than he ever played.
I think that's a good thing, though, heading into this year where he's not going to be the starting big as you enter the 24-25 season, because it still will be DeAndre Ayton, and you can ease him into that, and then we can kind of see where he is at that point, right? Whether a move is made and DeAndre Ayton is dealt out of Portland, goes somewhere else, or Donovan Clingan goes and takes that job from DeAndre Ayton at some point. Which I think as the number 7 overall pick, you're hoping that could happen with DA. But right now, that's not a question that needs to be answered in year 1 and right out the gate for the Portland Trailblazers, which good to have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I had somebody ask, Sprague and I did Jack Ramsey's on Friday. Somebody asked if the Trailblazers have the deepest center rotation in the league, and I think it's pretty easy to argue that's yes. DeAndre Ayton, Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams, Duop Reith.
That's pretty deep.
I don't.
I don't know how you're going to carry all 4 of them throughout the entire season, but yeah, right now.
Right now, and I think that's a good spot for you're protecting Donovan.
Yep.
And I think that is a good thing.
No way. You're not just going to throw him to the Wolves right away? Oh, no way. What a novel concept.
Weird.
All right, so are you at already love him or solid start?
Solid start.
Need to see more.
Solid start.
All right, 64.3% of the respondents so far say solid start. 35.7 say already love him. The oh no and need to see a lot more. Still, we don't have any votes for those yet.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't think you could.
Which is it's a stark contrast to what we had at the very beginning. That's why I wanted to revisit this to see where people are at.
If you're saying oh no right now, I don't know what you're watching. Legitimately, I don't know what you're watching.
I think that those were oh no after the very first game.
Oh no, I'm talking about
I
now.
know. But after the very first game, it was. There were a lot of people who were like, it looked a little spastic at times.
Sure.
As you said, the happy feet. It settled into a really good spot.
Oh no is Nick Batum. Oh no is Zach Collins. Those are the summer leagues where you're like, oh no. Zach did not look like an NBA player. No. Nick Batum did not look like an NBA player. What was different was the difference.
Still loved Nick, though, because you saw little flashes of his athleticism. Yeah. But he just looked
He's terrified.
Scared.
He was terrified. He's talked about that. And the difference was the time period between the end of Summer League and the regular season starting, Nick Batum matured mentally and was starting day 1 as an 18-year-old.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts, dude.
Yeah, and he was good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the end-all be-all of Summer League. But I've never seen a big look as good as Donovan did on the things that matter, like rim protection, rebounding, not fouling, being controlled, all those things, and then have it not carry over. There's going to be some change. The actual NBA players, NBA athletes are different. The speed's going to be another notch up. But from college to Summer League, that's like a graduation. That's what that is. Like you're moving on to like, oh, summer league sucks, buddy. Those dudes will absolutely fry 99% of the world.
Every one of them is a pro.
Yeah, like
by definition,
legitimately, and most of them will go play overseas or play in the G League, and they can play, and they are crazy athletes.
All right. Speaking of guys overseas that can play, Team USA dodged a bullet on Saturday.
Yeah, they might not dodge one today.
And they are playing Germany right meow in London as part of the USA Basketball Showcase. We'll give you an update on what's going on against Germany, and we have got lawyers involved. There will be lawyers.
Indeed.
There are lawyers. Basketball coverage on the Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Hour number 2 right around the corner on the Fan. All right, we were just talking Donovan Clingan and his summer league. Updated odds on Rookie of the Year coming out of summer league. Zach Edey, 6-1.
I still don't get those odds.
Reed Shepard, 7-1, along with Zachary Arizache. Or I don't even know. I can't even figure out how Adam Silver got to the point of pronouncing his name the way he did.
Reesher?
No, it was even worse than that. It's like Zachary.
Oh, he tried to go full French
Yeah,
on
oh,
Zach. That's right.
Sar and Buzelis go 8-1, 9-1. Stephon Castle 9-1. Dalton Connect at 11-1. Rob Dillingham 12-1. And then at 14-1, Donovan Clingan.
Honestly,
14-1, and then Cody Williams is 20-1.
yeah,
Those two guys, Ron Holland ahead of Cody Williams.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that because he may score 15, 16 a game, but it's going to be on 30% from the field.
Yeah,
Him and Buzelis look like tire fires.
didn't look great, but they can grow.
Again,
They can grow.
They can and they should. But I said this the other day on the pod with Sprague. The G League Ignite actively hurt all of their players.
Yeah.
Legitimately, it actively hurt Scoot. It actively hurt Jalen Green. It actively hurt Kuminga. It actively hurt Matas and Ron. It did not do any of them any favors. And I don't mean that as a negative to the guys that worked in the G League Ignite because there's plenty of dudes, including Pooh Jeter, who was there as a mentor to Scoot. But it hurt those kids.
Okay, which son of an NBA legend will have a better year? Bronny James, 151 to 1 odds, along with Scottie Pippen Jr.
Scottie Pippen Jr.
Scottie Pippen Jr.
Scottie Pippen Jr. has actually turned himself into over the last couple of years into a functional NBA player. Yeah. He is a backup point guard in the NBA now.
All right.
So he's going to get picked up and everybody's going to go, oh, he's actually like a solid player now.
Okay. All right, there we go. Those are your odds.
What's funny is speaking of NBA players' sons, those two, while having the fathers that were the best, are probably going to be the least talented and effective of this generation that's coming through, whether it's Cam Boozer's twins, Gilbert Arenas' kid, Trevor Ariza's kid, Carmelo Anthony's kid. All of those guys are absolute monsters, and you're going to hear their names in the next 2 years.
Okay. All right, let's get to the other NBA news that we have coming out today. Warner Brothers has sued the NBA.
Not yet.
Well, they're planning on suing the NBA?
Yes.
Okay, they're filing a lawsuit against the NBA.
Not filing yet. They have. This is what's going to happen here. So, the Ben Golliver has a report out right now. It says TNT Sports says in a statement has matched one of the media rights offers made to the NBA. We have reviewed the offers and matched one of them. We look forward to the NBA executing our new contract. So what is going to transpire from this is the NBA is going to tell them to get bent. You have to match the big offer. And TNT is going to counter by saying, no, we can match whatever offer we want to match that's in the rights deal. And then the NBA is going to tell them, no, go to hell. And then TNT is going to sue. That is where we're headed.
Okay. All right.
So
we're getting the lawsuit.
But I don't know why they're doing this because they're digging their own grave and now they're piling dirt on top of them because the lawsuit is going to end up going against Amazon and Amazon is going to bury them.
Yeah.
It's going to bury them.
Well.
TNT's lead executive being a complete dumbass and saying that they did not need the NBA last year publicly in a statement. We don't need the NBA was the dumbest thing then. We talked about it. It was like, why would you, even if you believe this, why would you say it? What are you doing?
That's not good business.
That improves your leverage?
Yeah.
No, dummy. You can't look at the media because this thing. There was this world that existed in some worm-brained people's skulls that the money wasn't going to be there for the NBA. And we talked about this off air. I was like, it's going to double, if not triple, their rights deal. It's going to be insane. The streaming money is real.
Yeah.
It's a real injection of cash. We saw it in the NFL. It's like the NFL, what did they get? 17 billion? 16 billion, something along those lines?
It's a lot of money.
It's an insane amount of money. I'm like, you don't think the NBA is going to get a third of that? Are you insane?
They're going to find it. They're going to find it.
So of course because even though they're in the NFL window, they're also not in the NFL window when NFL games are not going on.
Okay. And
that money was going to be there. And so you in the business of sports, pretending
a lot
like
of inventory.
Yeah. Pretending like that didn't exist was like that. Those are the people that are running those companies and you're wondering why they're failing. It's that simple.
All right. Elsewhere in the world of basketball, we had Team USA damn near lose to South Sudan in an exhibition tune-up for the Olympics.
And it was not like the U.S. took the foot off the gas. South Sudan was giving them work.
Dude, they play a fun style of basketball.
Super fast. And look, South Sudan and NBA Basketball Africa have done an incredible job over the last 10 years.
Luol Deng took the bull by the horns with all that.
Well, Royal Ivy, I believe, the head coach.
Yep. That Africa is going to turn into a basketball hotbed. It's already producing guys. You've got the number 2 guy in this recruiting class in Kaman Malik coming over from Duke. You had Orik Chomchi, who was a part of the academy. You've got guys, Ibu Baji was the first player to ever play in an NBA game out of Basketball Africa. Like, so you're starting to get these guys. And I don't know if you noticed, the 3 people that I just named are 6'11", 7'2", and 7'2".
Yeah, they've got some dudes. And if you've followed along or if you've ever been to the Nike Hoop Summit here in Portland, where USA Basketball tastes the world team, 2 or 3 are from South Sudan. Almost
Kaman
every
Malik was just there this year.
And you look at it and you go, okay, there are guys who have played NBA basketball, like former Blazer great Wenyen Gabriel. He was on the team, and you
also 6'10".
You go through and you say, no, there is talent there. But I think the larger aspect of this is they played a team style of basketball, and that is wholly what is missing from USA basketball right now, where you're seeing them. They have a 7-point lead over Germany, which won the FIBA championships in 2023. They're winning 48-41 at halftime in another tune-up that's going on right now. I had a lot of people texting me saying, what in the world is happening here? Like, not understanding, one, South Sudan they have taken a massive leap over the last 5 years. Well, the country's only been around for 13. But the last 5 years, they have really ramped up the talent and their national basketball team. They still should not be in a game that is anywhere close to USA, though.
No.
And that is cut and dry right there. There, no business, talent for talent, why South Sudan should take Team USA down to the wire.
No, absolutely unequivocally not. And that's been the problem for Team USA throughout this cycle so far, is that they are still trying to play an NBA game instead of playing the international game, because there is a big difference between FIBA basketball and NBA basketball. And I'll be blunt, I like the way FIBA basketball is played more than I like the way the NBA basketball is played. I hate the foul hunting. I hate the foul baiting. I hate the seeking contact as opposed to playing basketball. There are things in like freedom of movement that you will get called on fouls for in FIBA that you won't get called in the NBA, but it also makes for a much more open and flowing game. But at the same time, like, if you drive and you're just physical with somebody, you're not going to get the call. And that's a real thing, as opposed to playing basketball. They want to play for fouls, and they're like, their brain, it's tainted with NBA foul baiting.
Yeah, in that, Embiid is having the biggest struggles with that. And he is starting to turn it around slowly but surely. He's looking like he's more comfortable with it. He and Ant Edwards, it's going to be a highlight that you see everywhere today. Against Germany, Embiid contest at the rim, blocks a dunk attempt, and Ant Edwards on a run out just absolutely tomahawked one.
If you want to see what it looks like on the YouTube, just rewind about 15 minutes, and you can see Dusty and I both go slack-jawed.
It was absolutely...
Because we have the game on in here in the studio, and it was like, whoa.
It's insane. Now, Agent Zero.
Old Gilbert
Arenas. He had some takes on this game, Team USA and South Sudan. And Hibachi, he's probably going to get... Is Gilbert Arenas cancelable? Does he get canceled for this?
We got the males almost lost to some Africans. Yeah, we almost lost to them. And the king had to save. The king had to save us. I know the LeBron haters are mad. We almost lost to the Ahi tribe. This is crazy. Man, Embiid over there, damn throwing the game. He throwing the game for his cousins and shit. We're supposed to be losing to air up there. Come on, man. Cool Runnings. We're not supposed to lose to the Cool Runnings team. They don't even have shoes. They get their shoes from America. We gotta ship them shoes. They don't even have basketball rims, dog. My new boy, I seen he had to walk, an hour and a half to go shoot basketball. We losing to people who don't even, they got baskets in the back. They shooting on peach baskets in dirt, no shoes.
That coming from, what is it, Best of Sports Productions. Is he hosting his podcast on an elevator? What kind of music are they pairing that up with? Gilbert Arenas was none too happy with South Sudan taking Team USA down to the wire.
No, he's got a point.
Anybody else did get canceled because of that. But Gilbert Arenas,
yeah, calling them air up there and Cool Runnings was pretty harsh. But he's also not wrong in a sense of like a lot of the lesser developed nations. Yves Missy, who's just drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans, he put a video up on Twitter, like being how grateful and thankful he was for his journey because he came from Cameroon and he was playing on a basket barefoot in the dirt.
Yeah,
and this was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, that was not.
Well, that's not a thing that's like
totally out.
No,
of pocket.
Like that's like
Gilbert.
It's kind of wild to say it out loud.
Almost everything else was out of pocket.
Yeah, but like like they don't have the facilities. Like that's the thing is like they're starting to get a facility and like they're starting to get a camp like that brings everybody from the country. Like that's the thing is like they're just getting started and they're already here. It's kind of like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, Team USA, as good as they are, they have not totally fit together yet. And that's going to be interesting to see. I guess they're just getting ready to start here the second half against Germany, up 7, 48-41 in London. I believe this is their last showcase game because the Olympics are underway in 5 days.
Hey-o. That's exciting. And LeBron will carry the American flag, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Steph Curry made the announcement to him in the room, and you could tell it meant a little something.
Yeah, it's his last run. He knows it's his last run on Team USA, and they're going to need every damn point they can get out of him.
I mean, and Gilbert again was right. God, I can't believe I'm saying that. When LeBron did save them.
And KD apparently may be back by Thursday, I think, is what they were talking about.
Not a single game played in the run-up.
It's okay. He's Kevin Durant.
Totally fine.
This is fine.
You know, the last time he came back cold with off an injury to his calf, it went totally well.
Everything's going to be fine. My panic meter is at 3 for USA not winning gold. I'm at a 3.
For gold?
Yeah.
5.
You're at a 5.
5 for gold.
Well, I mean, that's the expectation is gold.
Yeah, then that's what I'm saying. Like
I'm at 3. I'm still at 3. I think we're going to be okay.
They can turn it on for sure, but they have effed around and they are finding out a couple times already.
When the rubber meets the road, they're going to put their best 5 on the floor. You saw that against South Sudan. They ended the third quarter on a 16-0 run. And then they put everybody else back in. I think that when it becomes time not to play an exhibition game and it's time to grind out a win, I think Team USA is going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. America. All right, 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Forward text line. Hey, we've got more across the pond because America flexed its muscles again. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. perfect song to segue into the Open Championship, which wrapped up over the weekend.
It's the feeling you got when you get stuck in the straw.
4 under on the back nine yesterday. Xander Schauffele takes home the claret jug, and I'm picking up what Xander Schauffele's putting down. What a great year he has had. The guy who it was, will he ever be able to win the big one heading into this year? And he finishes 2024 not with just one, but 2 major championship wins. Think about that. Like, it was always Xander Schauffele was one of the world's best golfers, but was he going to go the way of Ricky Fowler and just not be able to ever get over the hump and win, right? Was he going to be the guy that could hold it together between the ears all the way through and hold off charges late by somebody else to win majors? And he won 2 of them this year. And I was going through, and Jamie Kennedy on Twitter, he posted this morning. He said he was going through, and with Xander Schauffele, this year for him is one of the greatest major seasons of any golfer ever. In the last 40 years, he went back and he said basically he did wins and losses, right? Mm-hmm. So you against the rest of the field in all 4 of the major events, right? How did you finish in those?
2 wins.
He had 2 wins, a 7th and an 8th place finish.
2 wins, 2 top 10s?
Yeah.
It's 2 top 8s. It's kind of crazy.
It is the 7th best single year run in the last 40 years. The guys who are in front of him, Tiger Woods, the Tiger Slam year in 2000, where he won 3 major tournaments and then finished 5th in the in the other. So he beat 99.3% of other golfers that he faced in major championships that year.
That's disgusting.
Jordan Spieth, 2015, where he won 2 majors, and then I believe finished 2nd and 3rd. So his record was 556, 4-1, because he tied. Okay, and that was 99.1%. Also, he tied 2005 Tiger Woods. Who went 552, 4-1 with 2 major championships. Brooks Koepka's 2019, where he won 1 major championship and won beat guys 98.5%. Phil Mickelson's 2004, where he won 1 major championship. And then this one is probably the most impressive out of the group. The 6th best major championship run was Ricky Fowler. He beat 97.9% of his competition in 2014. Did not win a single major that year. He went.
God, you're kidding me.
Was
he top 5 in all of them?
He went in head-to-heads against every single other golfer in 2014. Ricky Fowler's record, and we're using air quotes, there, was 549, 8-4. He finished 5th in the Masters, 2nd in the U.S. Open, 2nd in the Open Championship, 3rd in the PGA Championship that year.
Would you rather have that, or would you rather win 1 and then just dead last in the other 3?
I think Ricky's like, I would rather just have 1 right now, because that's Ricky Fowler, man. It's like not being able to get over the hump. And so Xander Schauffele, his record in major championships this year was 516, 13-1. That's bananas. And so like it's not just a guy got over the hump, he stayed at that level and then won another. And you got to wonder, like, is this going to be one of those great runs where a guy just unlocks it, right? And becomes a multiple time major winner now. I'm like, that was a guy that I would always crack jokes like, dude, I loved watching Schauffele golf, but it was just like, dude can never get over the hump when it mattered. He's Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
He was Ricky Fowler, and then a younger version. But obviously, boom, you open up that door, and what that does for you mentally, just unlocking in the game of golf, it's invaluable.
It's so crazy to think about, like the talent of every golfer. And obviously there's folks with more, but that mental component.
Yeah.
Like John Daly is probably one of the most talented golfers to ever play the game. The stuff that he can just show.
Tiger Woods said it. Yeah. Tiger Woods even said, he's like, dude, if I had the talent you have, like I'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean,
it was the rest of it.
Yeah. The mental stuff, the flippant, the physical, ailments as it were. it's just not there. And you kind of wonder with, you kind of look at Rory, who looks like he's built in a lab, but I mean, I hate saying fragile because I don't think it's the right word. But when it comes time for that stuff, you just know he's going to fold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see the guys that eventually unlock it.
Yep. And oh, by the way, this text, Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. Shoffley's win at the Open Championship. First time in 42 years Americans have swept all 4 of the major championships.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, you had
USA,
Scheffler in the
USA.
Let's
Right
go.
for Olympic season.
Scheffler in the Masters, DeChambeau in the U.S. Open, Shoffley at the PGA, and Shoffley at the Open Championship. It's the first time that has happened where an American has won all 4 of the majors since 1982, where you had Tom Watson won the U.S. Open that year. And then I believe the Open Championship at Royal Troon as well. PGA Championship was won by Raymond Floyd that year, and Craig Stadler won the Masters that year. So America,
reminder,
hell yeah,
your
flex on.
Your Olympic golf team for Team USA
Yep.
is Wyndham Clark, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, and Scotty Scheffler.
It's not too bad.
Not too shabby.
I believe I heard Schulte say this morning too that Schauffele is just the 6th golfer to win his first 2 majors in one season.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's badass. So, congrats to Xander Schauffele, and congrats to his dad, who just is a vibe. Do you see his dad?
No.
He had the hat. He was drinking out of a flask.
Oh, nice.
He was sipping whiskey. I would assume it was scotch, out of a flask.
Yeah.
And then
be a real man, drink out of the bottle.
Yeah, he was asked, like, what are you going to drink out of it? And he said, that's my dad right there. And so they went back and they asked his dad. And I didn't know this, that the claret jug, claret is like an old wine, apparently. Yeah. And so it's a Bordeaux.
I believe it's the #1 selling wine in Wisconsin.
Oh.
As weird as that is.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a red wine from Bordeaux. So he said drinking beer would be sacrilege if I did that. So I'm going to drink wine out of it.
Well, it's kind of funny because the claret jug is like you drink Bordeaux, which comes from France.
For the British Open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Don't let details get in the way. All right?
Like,
don't let details get in the way of a fun story, which is Xander Schauffele's dad's going to pound some red wine out of the claret jug.
You just like that. You've got the British Open with French wine. You've got the Germans making landfall in England here on USA takes on USA takes on Germany in London.
See, Americans fighting off the Germans in London again.
Not the first time. Not the first time.
What
are you doing here?
To have that, if you're Schauffele's dad, to have that holstered. I was listening to Schauffele talk about an interview of, like, he was 13 years old when he decided, like, all right, I'm going to commit to golf. And then when he was 15 and 16, he and his dad, like, set out a plan on how they were going to achieve his goals and get to the mountaintop, right? And I'm thinking at that meeting when he was like 15 or 16 years old, that's when his dad was like, all right, I have to start thinking about all the things I'm going to do with the trophies that my son wins. And that's where the claret jug, he started doing the research and being like, no. We're not going to drink beer. I'm going Bordeaux. He did the research. He had it holstered. The damn man is a legend. We need to protect him. Papa Schauffele.
I like it.
Let's go.
All right, coming up next, our worst down the web. It's been a little while since we've gone to Florida, so we're going back to Florida.
Uh-oh.
Do you know they have bears in Florida?
Sun bears?
Not sun bears.
Oh.
But our sun bear, Mr. Jeff Rust, Big Cahoon himself, has got a Sports Center update for you.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
This is a Big Ten Media Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Sunbear here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, after dropping 2 of 3 to the Astros, the Mariners start a 3-game set with the Angels at T-Mobile Park. Bryce Miller on the bump for Seattle. Tyler Anderson for L.A. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Mariners and Astros currently tied for the American League West lead. The M's have placed first baseman Ty France on outright waivers. Since returning from the injured list with a hairline fracture in his right heel, France has hit just 159 with 1 home run and 4 RBI in 102 plate appearances. Rookie Tyler Locklear is expected to take over at first base. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting free agent guard Spencer Dinwiddie has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Mavericks. In the NFL, as the Packers begin training camp today, quarterback Jordan Love has told the team he won't practice until he gets a contract extension. GM Brian Gutekunst says it's possible they could agree to a deal in the next few days. And on the ice, the Winterhawks announced Mike Johnson will step away from his role as head coach, but has signed a 4-year extension to remain with the team as president and general manager. Longtime assistant Kyle Gustafson will take over as head coach. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web with Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Well, this story comes as a 50-50 coin toss-up between a story about bears in Florida or a broken jar of salsa that we'll save for later.
Ew. Hey,
The dumbest possible timelines exist where a broken jar of salsa can cause so much damage. But the Florida Rangers from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation are warning Floridians to not take pictures with what is now being described as a stressed, depressed lemon zest black bear. Stop taking selfies with the depressed black bear.
Yeah, okay, this is dumb. People need to understand
it's a bear.
Nature is scary. Taking pictures with bears, like I see these of people who are like, hey, look at this bear joined our picnic. It's like, you're lucky you have your face, let alone this video you're sharing on social media. Anybody that goes and tries to take pictures with the bison at Yellowstone, I'm like, are you guys dumb? Do you realize how big these animals are? And they are wild. They are not kind. Bears, bison, Battlestar Galactica, they will kill you. They will all kill you.
I don't think people truly understand what a bear can do. If you're not like,
well, Brick Tamlin told me what bears can do. They can smell the menstruation.
It's true. Grizzly bear versus black bear, two different bears.
Yes.
Black bears, I think, are around 200 pounds, where grizzly bears, I believe, are like 1,800 pounds, if I remember right.
The big old brown bear.
But if bear claws, a lot of power in them in their things. I don't know if you've ever seen a black bear climb a tree like it's not even there. Them go ahead and pulling their 200-pound body up like it's nothing. Now think about the power necessary to do that.
Look, I feel like the Rangers are having to do this for legal reasons. I mean, natural selection is going to take care of this, though. If you are dumb enough to be like, you know what, selfie with this bear is a good idea.
Before, look, I would just look, again. I'm with you. I am all for Darwin taking a hold, grab the wheel, in just about everything. But if you're just wondering, how much do I want this picture with said bear? Google face after bear mauling, and if you are not okay with seeing wild stuff, don't do that. But I'm telling you right now, whole faces disappeared.
Yeah. I've seen The Revenant. Wasn't that with
Leo?
Leo, where he gets attacked by that old grizzly bear. Just send that scene out. Be like, don't be this guy. Don't be this guy being attacked by a bear.
Are you stupid or something?
Yeah. Yeah. But this is very Florida story. I feel like selfies with bears.
You shouldn't have to be told not to do that.
What about it? Okay, it says a depressed bear, though.
Yeah, I wonder how they're like been able to like. Is this the Eeyore to the Winnie the Pooh world?
That's right.
Thanks for noticing. Like, buddy, if the bear's on Xanax, do you want to go find out when he goes bipolar?
Is it bipolar bear? I see what you did there. A bipolar bear. I see what you did there. Rust is disappointed in himself.
He's mad that he didn't beat me there.
For that one. So does this mean now we're going to find like a donkey that is very excited running around? Because it's like, it's
you can go to Mexico and find one.
Damn it, you beat me to that one too.
I don't think that those donkeys are happy.
I hate you guys so much.
You guys, I can't take you anywhere.
We learned that a couple times last week too.
My goodness gracious almighty. It's the alternate universe of Winnie the Pooh is Florida.
Yeah.
Where you have depressed bear.
Somebody, the people at Rockstar Games need to find a way to include depressed black bear in GTA 6.
Oh. Yeah.
Side mission to go take a picture with a depressed black bear.
Like, what is he just sitting there? And
I mean, he is just posted up, and he does look very sad.
He's on his haunches, just all sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Them's the breaks. Why would you want to take a picture with him? That's not going to help his day.
Onlookers are trying to take selfies with the bear, and he's clearly not in the mood for pictures. The bear has shown signs
He's
of
a
severe
bear.
stress.
He's never in the mood to take pictures with you.
It's a wild bear. Like, even the bear at the zoo is like, oh, God, not these people again.
I love this. Like, onlookers, the bear was not in the mood for photos. It's, oh, really? I'll be damned.
Thanks,
That's amazing to hear. Nature's scary. But I guess when you live in the world of gators and crocs.
See,
You're
they're used to the gators, though. They know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of the guy who lives on a canal and there's like a 4-foot gator in his pool? His wife is like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" He gets in the water with the thing in his pool.
I'm gonna go get this guy.
Well, it's his pool, so he
I'm
can
gonna get
see
this.
everything.
Okay.
And he
yeah,
just
that helps.
I mean, it does that we don't know that there's something else in there.
That's the terrifying thing is you've seen this is why you need polarized sunglasses because you pop them on, you can see all the gators underneath.
The 4 gators, they're like just below the water.
It's a death pit.
Yeah. But he just gets in his pool and circles around, grabs it by the tail, and like tries to snap at him a few times. And he just grabs the nose, walks him over to the fence, and throws him back over. And I'm like, that's a man that has done this more than once.
Yeah.
Like, did not bat an eye about how to handle a gator.
Oh my God.
It was funny because it was in a house on a canal in like Jupiter, Florida. Like one of those houses. You're like, why does the guy that's worth like $20 million know how to handle the gator? Like, even the rich know how to handle the gators in Florida. What they don't know how to handle is apparently, according to this, there's over 4,050 black bears living in the wild in Florida.
How many?
4,000. Seems like a lot.
More than I would think, but Florida is...
I would imagine most of those are like panhandle.
North Florida is rural.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
Also, like, I just didn't know black bears chilled in the swamp.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it is swampy up there.
Oh no,
but
yeah, no, it is.
They'll find them.
South.
They'll find themselves the woods.
The woodsin.
Yeah, just be all up in.
Yeah, you ever been to Lake Okeechobee? It's swampy, buddy.
Yeah, we should relocate these bears to somewhere less humid. I feel
That's
like
probably
maybe
why
that's why he's depressed.
He's sitting there going, "This sucks, man."
This Vancouver Ford text line says, sounds like this bear needs to meet up with the cocaine bear.
Tennessee was where the cocaine bear was, I believe.
Yeah, it might. I mean, maybe he did, and he's just having a tough time the day after.
It could be.
We don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It could be the next day. Maybe he was in Tennessee. He was on all the cocaine, and he came down to Florida. And now he's like, "What the hell did I do, and how did I get here? What happened last night?"
Drugs.
Bears should try yoga for his depression. He just needs a good yogi. Text line coming in. A bear declawed can slap the S out of you and knock you out. Imagine it with his claws. Yes. Imagine with
It's a lot of power. If you're
bears are scary, dude.
To bring back an oldie but a goodie, you been slapped with the powder? It hurts.
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, you remember that movie?
Uh-uh.
Give me my powder.
Uh-uh. What movie?
I'm totally blanking on the movie now.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
I had it and I lost it.
I got nothing there. You know, bears are terrifying. I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you guys before, but we were at
How High?
How High?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in 20 plus years.
Ever, not once.
Gets ready to quite literally pimp slap him, and he's got the
Method Man and Red Man.
Yeah, and he's like, "Give me my powder," and he loads it with.
Oh.
It was something we used to do in the military.
Oh, okay. With like Gold Bond?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. We had a bear.
Yeah, that's it.
We had a bear sink our boat in Lake Shasta.
Oh God, bears have submarines?
Yeah. We had a houseboat and we had a ski boat right next to it. And this big old bear
just hopped on it and pushed
comes
it down.
out, and old man Hera left the cooler in the ski boat, and he smelled something he wanted, which was chocolate milk. And he went and he just like was clawing away, and all of a sudden the ski boat just went down lower and lower and lower, and then all of a sudden water just started coming in.
And at that point, it's too late.
Big old bear.
Yeah.
And so then he
did he get the bear insurance?
He bails on that, and he comes onto like the front deck of the houseboat where we had our big garbage can, and it was chained to the houseboat.
Just
threw it up the hill
like it was nothing,
and then just sat on this hill with a look of satisfaction that you could only get from a bear who was eating like 3-day-old powdered donuts. And then he was sitting there eating as the boat next to us is in the water, and he's just looking down at us as he's eating. And my dad is like yelling, "Get out of here, bear!" And this bear took a pee that it was, I don't know how this
seared
much was
into your life.
It just rolled down this hill and just right onto the front of our houseboat, which was docked on the land. And we were like, "What? Is this real?"
Yeah.
Dad goes back the next day to like the sheriff's, and he's sitting there and he's like, "You guys wait here." He got a ride over, tells the sheriff what happened. and me and my buddy are still on the houseboat, and a sheriff boat pulls up, and he's like, "What happened to your guys' boat?" And we're like, "Well,
A bear sank it.
And then so my dad is trying to explain to the sheriffs like back at dock what happened, and they're like, "Okay, buddy, whatever. We see a lot of boat accidents.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever." Over the radio, you hear this. You guys aren't gonna believe this. We had a bear that sunk a boat, and worst part was, we got the boat from a friend. A buddy lent us his boat, but because the sheriffs came out and you could see bear claw marks all over
the boat,
it was
covered.
Bear sunk by the boat. Insurance covered that boat. That was a quick end to our Lake Shasta trip, though.
Yeah, I've been to Shasta a million times. Never seen a bear.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it turns out Bear Island.
There you go.
Not the place to.
Turns out that's where the bears are. Speaking of terrible things that happen to stuff that's not yours, totally derail. I borrowed my buddy's car when my car was in the shop. I don't know what happened to this day, how it happened, or what transpired that caused this. I was driving down the road, and his transmission quite literally fell out the bottom of the car.
Just fell out?
Like, it locked up so hard, like it seized so hard, it snapped the shaft and dropped out of the car and was scraping on the ground.
That's not good. That's bad. That's all bad.
And I was like, I don't know, dude. I didn't do anything. I was just driving.
Yeah, just gone. That's a horrible feeling to go back to your buddy and just be like, yeah, well, sorry about this.
It was like $3,000. And I was like, I'll pay for it. He's like, no, I got it. But it was just having to explain a situation like that, because I don't know what would be hard to explain. I didn't do it, or a bear did it.
Yeah, we had a lot of photos of it and a police report to back it up. So it was good. It was good. He got a new boat. He got a new boat out of it.
But still, it's like,
it's a tough one.
A bear sunk my. If you came back to me, I'd be getting my powder.
I feel like the fact that my dad was having a very tough time explaining it to the sheriffs was the bigger one. His buddy was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And that's back when we had to go and develop the photos and all that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a whole deal back then.
Oh God. Well, from Bears to Bucks, there's more than one really important Antetokounmpo on the Bucks, and we'll dive into that and more here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. also talk about how the importance of building a team out beyond the players and the impact of veterans and locker room guys. Udonis Haslem has been the long-held role of locker room sage for the Miami Heat, the arbiter of culture, as it were. He's now moved off the bench and is now a row back as a coach with the Miami Heat. Taj Gibson has signed another deal in the NBA to be that veteran guy. I've talked to players, coaches, and executives in the NBA who all come together to believe that NBA teams, like the two-way deal, should also have a deal that is a guaranteed deal that does not impact their roster space. And it's a guy like Taj Gibson or Udonis Haslem or Kurt Thomas, when he was that guy, a sage veteran, a guy with 10-plus years experience that can only play like 15 games. Like it's a very, very your job is to be there and be a player coach.
And especially when you have young players and you have a young core that you're trying to grow and develop and teach them how to be pros, the worst thing you can do is go all young.
No, every time I hear somebody say, the Blazers need to get rid of all the old guys and get nothing but young, you cannot have a culture.
Well, even look at the Boston Celtics when Al Horford came back. Now, he was a guy who played a lot more than the 15 games that you're talking about, but it was that veteran presence in that locker room that was the calming force. You think about when they brought in Jrue Holiday this past year, and it was like, it's this guy who's won, knows how to win, and can help you drag you over the finish line. Those guys are really important, whether you have established young guys or you have young bucks like Portland's case, where you may not be trying to win games, but you're trying to develop a young core of players to the point where they can.
How to be professionals, how to show up, how to work, and the stuff. And it's not even just that; it's the little stuff that matters. And I've heard when Damian Lillard was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, a few people asked me about, like, well, are the Bucks a serious franchise? They keep giving Giannis's brother contracts like it's nothing. You know, like the Blazers gave Damian Lillard's cousin a two. It's like, okay, number one, that was a nepotism thing, and they hooked Dame's cousin up with a deal in Keldon Blevins, but it also didn't hurt anything. Thanasis Antetokounmpo, I have been told by multiple people, is the North Star for Giannis. And if you read the book that Miran Fader wrote about Giannis, you will understand why. The bond and familial structure of the Antetokounmpo family is one that is forged in fire. And Jeff Teague on his podcast was talking about the importance of Thanasis and why ultimately he mattered so much in their championship run.
TA, sure. Giannis' brother. When we went down 0-2, he had COVID. So he couldn't come to the plane. That's why we went down 0-2. Giannis was messed up. Like him and his brother, bro, they got some different kind of connection. He can't function or play if he don't see his brother. I'm being for real. It's not even real. It's different, bro. He was like, where TA at? Where TA at? We in the middle of the game. I'm like, bro, we in the finals, bro. Play. Like, where TA? Where TA? So TA make this magical, like, COVID recovery. I know he still had it. Ain't no way, bro. It's 14 days, bro. He's back in 3. He's back. Then when he see him, tunnel vision back on him, they started hooping. But his energy was like contagious. Like he running in the locker room, COVID, everything he got, yelling, screaming. And I'm like, yeah, he matters. Like he makes a difference for our team. When he's not here, something's not clicking. But when TA was there, he made it. Like he mattered. And then somehow he's in the locker room. He does all that. When a parade come, he has a ride by himself because he got COVID. I'm like, bro, we all sick, bro.
Number one, the COVID thing, a lot of teams skirted that with a lot of stuff. Just being real. But that point about Thanasis mattering, in this particular case, it matters to Giannis because Thanasis is like, for all of the power that superstars wield, you have to have somebody on every given team that is willing to check that. Just tell the star you're out of pocket. Dame didn't actually really need that here because he didn't wield the power, so to speak. But the last couple of years, Giannis has, in making sure that Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez were taken care of, and then ultimately leading to the hiring of Adrian Griffin. But I've been told by multiple sources that Thanasis is the guy that will check Giannis, that will be the guy who goes, no, and will kind of give him the big brother, no, That's not how we do things. That's like, you're acting a fool, and we'll like keep him in line. And not that Giannis is his big problem, but when you're that big of a star, ego can get in the way every now and then. But he's the guy that when he acts out of line, he course corrects him.
Well, when you think about it, like Dame had so many of those people once he got off the court.
Yes.
And they were even around the facility once practice got done, once games got done.
Very well structured.
And there was a lot of checking of that with Dame here in Portland. With Giannis, you heard the stories before anybody else was part of the roster, right? Where he'd be like hoofing it to try to get to a game in December.
It gets picked up by a fan.
Pick him up in the car and be like, where is your coat? And he's like, I don't know.
In the middle of winter in Milwaukee.
He's 19 years old, just like, what are you doing outside like this? But you have the ability to have that guy on the team. He becomes a safety blanket for him, and that's kind of all he knew. On the floor, he was a liability, though. I mean, it truly was. But as you were talking about, he was akin to that veteran who's the wily old guy that would be able to show Giannis, all right, no, this is how we do it. And it's so much different from those guys because of the experiences that they had as two-time immigrants,
yes,
in their lives, going to Greece first and then to the States. It completely changed kind of who they are, and that's a connection that
remember the smoothie tweet is
really.
I just had smoothie for the first time.
Yeah. Or Slurpee? Was it Slurpee
no,
or
smoothies?
That's a cultural difference that he experienced.
What an incredible thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was at 2013.
Golly. What a treasure Giannis is.
Yeah.
I love him.
And then, of course, ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Good times. All right, coming up next in hour number 3.
Bless his wife.
It's a new world of quarterback play in the Big Ten. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Hour number 3 here on a Monday on Danny and Dusty. We're thankful. We're grateful that you're here, whether you're listening on 1080 AM The Fan, watching on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. USA. LeBron James is LeBron Jamesing. Germany was trying to rewrite world history and knock off USA here late. The 39-year-old LeBron James has said, give me the ball and get out of the damn way, and absolutely took over in the final couple minutes. The U.S. is now up 4 with 45 seconds to go.
He said 9.
Is that what he said? Is that what he did?
Yeah.
He did that.
He did.
So
I
much
heard
for
it.
Joel Embiid's quotes to, what was it, the New York Times and Athletic that he did his interview with. Did you see that?
No.
It was, he said a lot, including Subway has the best cheesesteaks because he doesn't eat cheesesteaks. I think he endorses Subway, though. So I think he may have had to say that. But he also said that you could just look at LeBron and you could tell he's not the same player that he once was. He's a step slower, which, because he's not 25 anymore. He's damn near 40 years old. But guess who's been carrying this team when it matters the most in the last 2 games? LeBron and LeBron.
He literally just dribbled the ball.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Al Farouk Amino did that all the time.
Yeah. The thing here is he gets to play like Draymond Green for 3 quarters, and in the 4th quarter, he has energy because he hasn't had to backpack the entire Los Angeles Lakers decrepit franchise.
Yes.
So,
yes,
that's the thing. Speaking of transitions, while LeBron James continues to, transform on all of the drugs.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Was that out loud? My bad. My brain. Just the connection happens. I firmly believe, and maybe this is some Pac-12 arrogance, the Big Ten is not prepared for the level of quarterback play that is going to come into their conference with the introduction of USC, Oregon, UW, UCLA. Say what you want about UW post Caleb DeBoer, but with the exception of Ohio State, that conference does not know what quarterback play is, and that is shown really for the past 20 years.
I think right now it's kind of highlighted because of the fact that if you look at just the landscape of college football the way that it is right now, you have got these major transitions that are happening. And look, Michigan has had their runs where they've had great quarterback play. Ohio State, and look, this isn't a conversation about NFL-style quarterback. Ohio State has phenomenal college quarterbacks. The next level, we can have those conversations. C.J. Stroud looks pretty damn good for the Houston Texans right now. But as a whole, your point is true about the Big Ten and the quarterback play there. It's not that Washington, USC, Oregon, and especially UCLA, it's not that they don't have their question marks, because they do at quarterback, because all of them are breaking in new guys with the exception of UCLA. And that is a massive question mark as to whether or not they can turn the corner and get stable quarterback play. But just look down the list of quarterbacks in the conference from the Big Ten, and you go alongside the weapons that are around them. If you were to take last year's Big Ten and you take the new additions out of it, your top quarterbacks would be somewhere looking like Will Howard at Ohio State, who was playing at Kansas State just a year ago. Drew Aller at Penn State. Boy, who would you put as probably Tyler Van Dyke, the Wisconsin quarterback, would be your 3rd best quarterback in the conference. And then you have Alex Orji or Aiden Childs, who is a transfer from the Pac-12, as your top 5 quarterbacks in the league this year. Now, with the additions of USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, I think if you look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, you will go Dylan Gabriel because of the body of work, the weapons that are around him, the system that he's entering comparative to the 2 systems that he's played in before, with the ease that Will Stein in that system will have to Dylan Gabriel's skill set, is probably the best quarterback in the country. Then you add Will Howard, would probably be number 2. And then at number 3, it's a crapshoot, because, as I said this earlier, Drew Aller at Penn State, when you take out the Michigan and Ohio State games, he was actually pretty damn good. The fact of the matter is he was atrocious against the two best teams that he played.
And not like, oh, you can see it. It was some of the worst quarterback play you had seen type stuff.
Okay. This is the stat on Aller that I just pulled up here. His completion percentage was 45.6% against Ohio State, Michigan, and Ole Miss.
Good.
The three best teams they played.
Yeah. Was he 70+% against the other?
65% in the other 10 games last year, right? And
that's such a massive discrepancy.
It is.
Though.
He was a sophomore, though.
That is the Kirk Cousins of college football.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
He was a sophomore. You hope for growth, and you sit there and you say, all right, what does his junior year look like for
Can he
for
process
Drew
against the teams that have dudes?
Now, you can throw up between Aller and Miller Moss, which Miller Moss we only saw one game of, but Lincoln Riley has raved, and his staff has raved about him. The weapons that are going to be at his disposal are going to be good.
You've got Zach Branch, you've got Bruce Robinson.
We saw him in the Holiday Bowl perform at a very high level. So you would probably,
and they didn't go out and chase a quarterback.
You'd probably throw those. Well, they did. He just ended up decommitting and going
somewhere else.
Wasn't it Will
Howard?
Or Will Rogers or Will Howard? Howard.
Yeah,
went to Ohio
and
State.
even then they didn't chase him in the sense of like going crazy after him. They went after him late of like, well, maybe he wants to come here.
So if you want to go Gabriel 1, Howard 2, Miller Moss, Drew Aller T3, then you look at Will Rogers at Washington coming from Mississippi State, where last year was an abomination by any measure for Mississippi State. But Will Rogers is a guy that if you want a guy who has done it before, he's started 29 games, I believe, at Mississippi State. You have Jed Fish, who look at what he did, whether it was Jaden Delora or Noah Fafita at Arizona. Like Noah Fafita
entirely
is
different kinds of quarterback.
Tiny little guy. Jaden Delora is not a big guy, and he maximized those talent. Now, having guys like last year, wouldn't you have a guy like Tetrell McMillan,
who might be the third best wide receiver in the country?
Pretty damn good and effective. But you can say the quarterback and coach connection, Will Rogers is going to be in that conversation. Throw Aiden Childs in there too, where we know Oregon State fans, we all know the hype around Aiden Childs because it was talked about all season long.
And when he did get on the field in those limited opportunities, you saw the flashes. I genuinely think that if he had done one smidgen more when he had been on the field, Jonathan Smith could have pulled the trigger. Because we heard from multiple people that when you went to practice down there, other players were like, Aiden Childs is him. He's got it.
The Mariota-esque hype around a guy that was backing up.
He was coming in and you're going, no, this dude is got it. He can absolutely sling it. And remember, he came in that first time in Pac-12 play, well, I think it was like the third drive and threw the touchdown. And you went, oh.
This will the biggest question that I have with Michigan State is what do their targets look like that he's throwing to?
That's going to be a little dicier.
Okay? You can throw into that conversation as well a guy like Dylan Raiola at Nebraska, which is a 5-star recruit. He's one of the most highly touted quarterbacks in last year's recruiting cycle. They're going to throw him to the Wolves, but is the receiving core at Nebraska going to be ready to kind of be up to snuff with that? I'll throw Tyler Van Dyke in there as well, the Wisconsin quarterback, where you're in Phil Longo's hybrid air raid, where they have not fully committed to an air raid type offense, but the principles are there. And
what about Dylan Raiola?
He had a great year last year. Well, that's
the question mark.
Yeah, his weapons.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. We will see. And also, when you look at pedigree for winning football games against really damn good teams too, freshmen don't do that.
No.
That is it right there. Is that
even the
stepping
best
in,
of them.
even redshirt freshmen, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to step in unless you have a wealth of talent at the receiver position surrounding them. It is really hard for a freshman to come in and play at that level. So that is the question mark, because Matt Rule has done a really good job of improving the roster in Lincoln. But is Raiola the guy who can come in right away and make a huge jump? I don't think so, because of the fact that the top tier teams in the Big Ten are just that damn good. And that, look, you can say the same thing. I think we will have an evolving conversation around Michigan and Alex Orji because of the fact that you have a first-year head coach and more. You have 18 guys that were drafted off that roster from a year ago.
He's not going to be asked to carry the burden of that offense for the first 4 weeks of the season.
But I believe that is where that conversation, that narrative, when we're talking about the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten, he probably will be in that conversation near the end of the year because of the fact that they have a solid run game and they have one of the best running backs in college football.
If not the best.
That you can lean on, and it takes a lot of that pressure off him. Yeah. You have eyes in the box that are not going to be on, the passing game out the gate. You're going to have to learn really quick, though, and take those strides forward. Good thing with Michigan is that you were up by a lot in a lot of games last year.
And even when you weren't, when you played Ohio State, you had a quarterback who everybody talks about. He was so good. He's just being held back. Here's the thing about Michigan and quarterbacks in the Big Ten. This is something maybe it's a bias. I don't know. But when I look at this conference, good to great quarterbacks, no matter what your style is, you let them do what they do.
Yeah.
And I watched J.J. McCarthy last year, and I was like, oh, his completion percentage was great. Like, he threw the ball 13 times a game, like in the games that mattered. Michigan, what did they do when they played Ohio State?
Ran the damn ball.
And then ran it some more, and then ran it some more, and then ran it some more.
Yeah.
And even with all those guys going to the NFL, they're going to do exactly the same thing. They're not going to like, you know what, Alex Orji, we need you to win a game.
Just look at the games where Moore was the head coach for. Penn State, anybody? They did not throw the ball in the second half.
What did they throw the ball 7 times?
They didn't throw it
the entire
second half.
Yeah.
They just said, we're going to run the damn ball down your throat.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And Orji he's athletic too, man. He is.
That's where I think he's going to shine.
He's like 6'3", 240.
And he moves.
And there's a dynamic there. But then, I mean, once you get past that top 4 or 5, I mean, those are the best teams in the conference as well. The drop-off is significant.
And it's not even just this year. The thing for me kind of going forward is there's going to need to be a kind of come to Jesus change stylistically in the Big Ten where, yes, it matters to recruit in the trenches, and it will always matter across the best of college football. But you look at the quarterbacks that have come out of the Big Ten, with the exception of Ohio State quarterbacks. If you want to keep up, heaven forbid that Oregon makes this normal for them in the recruiting classes being top 5 all the time. UW comes back. USC comes back because the UW, USC ones, they're going to get the skill guys. You know that's going to happen. You know they're going to get quarterbacks. If they start getting trenches again, guess what? You're not going to be able to keep up with their skill guys.
No.
You're not going to be able to keep up with their quarterback play. And that's the thing, is I wonder what stylistically the addition of these teams does to that conference. Because I think, well, yes, it opens up the recruiting pool for the Big Ten to go into California and steal some of those guys. The change at the quarterback position and the philosophical development of your program, it's not going to change instantly. But it does have to change because you might not be able to play 17-7 anymore because you just don't have the quarterbacks to go against.
Those days are gone because of the leaps that Ohio State, Michigan, and look, we can criticize Penn State all we want, but that's where they kill teams in the Big Ten outside of Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? Is they get into shootouts and they go. You look at the teams that have been disruptors in the Big Ten historically. It was Purdue
with the quarterback play,
where you had wide-ranging offense that stretched you both vertically and underneath mostly. But guys like Drew Brees coming out of Purdue.
What was the transfer they brought in last year?
Last year they have Hudson Card. Hudson Card from Texas. But he is, and they just have a talent gap.
Yes, and everywhere else.
And that is where I think that's going to be the biggest thing that we see in the Big Ten is there is a significant drop off between the top, and it is more pronounced. Like in the Pac-12, it was like 2 or 3 teams maybe that you have that. If you look at the Big Ten this year and the talent gaps between the top and the bottom, just because of how good the top teams have recruited
just say the top
in 5-year cycles.
There's 16. The top 8 versus the bottom
18.
8, or 18, the top 9. you get through that top 9, and even then at 9 it gets a little dicey, but the drop off is so drastic.
Indiana, Northwestern, Illinois, even you've got Minnesota, which row the boat. It was working for a minute,
Sure.
and they have one of the best offensive linemen in college football.
And they will be able to run the ball, but
they have a talent gap. UCLA is in this talent gap too, where you want to talk about those haves and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
It is a chasm between those two. Purdue is in that as well, where it was a shot when their coach goes home and Jeff Brom goes from Purdue to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were trending upwards,
yeah.
and then as quickly as it went up, it looks like it is spun back down. And the interesting one for me is that you have a few teams in the middle, like Rutgers, Maryland, and Michigan State with Jonathan Smith, where Mike Loxley was a disaster at the beginning because he took over an absolute dumpster fire of a program at Maryland. They got to his younger brother who has graduated and he's moved on.
Look, he was slinging it for 4 years.
But they had a progression for it, and you could see Loxley kind of settled in. Greg Schiano at Rutgers, they're having some of the best recruiting classes that they have ever had, and the best since, I don't know, Greg Schiano was there before. Those kind of 3 teams that are, and now, you know what, we could put Washington in there too because of the defections that they had to the NFL draft. Kalen DeBoer leaves. You bring in Jed Fish, who is a damn fine coach, has done a great job recruiting and taking over a program at Arizona that was in a worse position than a lot of these Big Ten programs were when he took the helm at Arizona. And you have these teams where you sit there and you look at it in 3 years, can they join that conversation of being more stable? But we're still a couple of years away from each of those programs being right there and catching up with the top end of the Big Ten conference. The bottom is a lot bigger than it was in the Pac-12. The chasm is gotten far bigger than it was just a handful of years ago between the haves and the have-nots, even in the Big Ten prior to the additions. But I think you're right when you look at the fact that quarterback play, whether it is Oregon, USC, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, it's far different than the other schools in the conference right now. I also think, I'll go back to it. Washington is not going to be nearly as good as they were last year.
No.
They are not going to be a road apple. They are very well coached. Stevie Belichick, their defensive coordinator, comes from the New England Patriots.
He's a lunatic, but he's a hell of a coach.
Now, the big gamble there is, are those guys going to be able to recruit? We know Jed Fish can, and that's a hell of a guy to have as your lead recruiter.
They're the number 17 class in the country right now.
But, yeah, and it's picking up steam.
Yeah.
Like, they are going to be okay. But will it be enough to be in the upper echelon this year? I don't think it will be.
But in 2 years?
In 2 years?
3 years?
They are going to be there.
When things settle down for them? Because, look, it's too hard to say any coach won't leave. I think Fish is going to be a guy who does stay there for a while because the stepping stone from UW to another school, it has to kind of be like what DeBoer did. Like how many jobs are vertical jobs from UW in the country? 15?
Yeah, probably
15.
Yeah.
So there's not that many.
No, it's and
it can happen. Certainly,
the big gamble with Jed Fish is will one of those 15 come calling, and how fast does that happen? Because he has been a guy who
steady
he's a
rising.
jumper.
Yes,
he's a jumper, and that's who he has always been. He's saying that he's not now, but
if one of those better jobs comes open, then you take it. Yeah,
and that's who Jed Fish has always been. It's always been a progression moving forward. What UW can lean on, though, is, hey, we played in a national championship game just this past year.
And even with all that talent gone, they're already, like I said, the number 17 class in the country.
It's a weird dynamic in the Big Ten right now when you look at the tiers of the teams that are stable at head coach and have very talented rosters. That list is very short with Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, right? Then you have, Michigan is kind of in no man's land where their roster is still
good,
really damn good, but we don't know anything about their coach and their staff because of how much left with Jim Harbaugh to go to the Chargers. Then you have USC, which is in a weird kind of no man's land of their own. And you can throw them in with Iowa and Kirk Ferentz, where you go, we have really good proven head coaches, But the other side of the ball cannot be figured out and has been an absolute embarrassment offensively for Iowa, defensively for USC.
Yeah.
Can they figure that out? Because they had wide-ranging changes on both of the sides of the ball for those staffs. And then you have all right, it's time to kind of put up or shut up when you're thinking of no, Wisconsin is in a different kind of range because Luke Fickell is entering year 2, and this is going to be a year where they feel that they're going to be competitive in a lot of football games. They're just not there recruiting wise. And then you have that very well coached, but needs the rosters to catch up. That's Nebraska, Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, and Michigan State. This first year in the Big Ten is going to be really damn exciting because of all those factors at play. And it all comes back to the most important position in sports. How stable are you at quarterback?
All right, we're going to keep things on college football as College Football 25, the video game, is taking over the world. This is just outstanding work by CBS Sports. We got to have some fun with the audio when we get back here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Quick little news update from the Big Ten Media Days, which we will start tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And then go Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Thursday.
Yeah.
We have who from Oregon on Thursday?
On Thursday, it appears the tentative schedule, which means this all will be thrown out the door once
By the time we get to
everything gets going.
Yeah.
Because we are going to be taking over. We're blowing out the herd with Colin Cowherd on Wednesday and Thursday as part of Big Ten Media Days. Thursdays when the Oregon Ducks will be coming through. Our tentative schedule will have Terrence Ferguson at 10:15, Jeffrey Bossa at 10:30, Dylan Gabriel at 10:45. Dan Lanning will be on with Durton Sprague at 9:45 right before they hand over to us. But if things get pushed back, Dan Lanning,
Which they will,
somewhere between 9:45 and 10 o'clock.
I'm interested to talk to Bossa. I want to see how much he weighs now.
Dude, a truckload now. Dude's body
went from 190
changed
to 230.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's up near the 240s now.
I was actually talking to my buddy Donnie over the weekend, and he was like, Jeffrey Bossa in the spring game looked like a completely different human being. And I was like, yeah, especially from 2 years ago when he was playing safety.
Yeah. He told us last year he put on 30 pounds. I was like, 30? That's a lot.
Yeah. To be young again.
Right?
To be young
well,
again.
I could put on 30 pounds. I did. But it wasn't useful weight. Turns out there's two different ways to put on 30 pounds really easily. Don't move and move a lot.
Dude looks jacked.
Speaking of college football, I've regaled you with my college football 25 updates as my Houston Cougars are pushing along. CBS Sports' Chris Hassel did a live version.
Beautiful.
That was just the rendition of what it looks like if college football 25, the video game, was real.
We have breaking news. Nebraska just rage quit the Cotton Bowl. Quarterback Arch Manning has transferred to Sam Houston State. The dynasty continues. Akron has completed an historic 10-peat. Texas A&M accidentally simmed their Week 3 game and lost.
Yep,
They'll look to bounce back next week. Carson Beck has been benched after pressing square when he meant to press circle. Northeast Arkansas Community College has defeated Alabama. Congratulations to the Delta Dogs. The pursuit of Toledo head coach Mom Spaghetti 420 is heating up. His revolutionary four-verts offense has taken the nation by storm. ACC powerhouse UNLV and reigning SEC champion Idaho are believed to be the frontrunners. Once again, Utah State proving why they're known as Heisman U. Fans are calling last night's Rose Bowl an instant classic after the game ended with a user pick and a broken controller. The noon kickoff has been delayed by a system update. And you better get comfortable because that download speed is horrendous. Handsome Squidward has won his third straight Heisman Trophy. Coach Prime has been bested on the recruiting trail yet again by his arch nemesis, Coach Booger Brains McGee. Actually, we're getting word now that Coach Booger Brains just suffered a major power outage. And he hadn't hit save since last season, so forget everything I just said.
That all sounds about right because I did accidentally hit the sim button, and who did I lose to? I lost to a team I had no. Oh, Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
I took a.
Oh, I thought it was Arizona State.
It happened again.
Oh, okay, good for you.
It happened again.
God bless you. Look,
you look. When you're on the recruiting trail hard at night, sometimes you lose track and you hit the wrong button on the wrong spot, and then you take an L to a team you shouldn't.
God. You know, them's the breaks when you're a head coach. You know, those are the head coaching responsibilities you got to have. You need to have a better general manager of your program, which I just saw that, oh, God, I think it was Rutgers just re-upped their GM, and they're going to make him like one of the highest paid GMs in college football because that is a role now, and people really need to get familiar with the fact that that is a position in college football. And the importance of it's immeasurable right now. In the world of recruiting, the portal, NIL, it is so valuable.
10, 20 years from now, we'll treat GMs in college football the same way we do in college basketball, to be honest. The same way we do professional GMs in the NFL and NBA. What's interesting is I was talking to a couple general managers in Las Vegas, and I wasn't talking to them about transactions or other stuff or like the normal stuff that we talk about. I was like, what do you guys do when it's not transaction season? Like, what's a day-to-day for? Like, I talked to a couple that were taking meetings in Las Vegas, And they weren't taking meetings with agents about players or other teams and talking about trades. They were taking meetings about their medical staffs. They were taking meetings on potential innovations that they can do within their staff, like different tech companies and different medical companies that have different weightlifting supplement, like structural type companies that hell, a company that develops underwater training pools. Like there's a million different things that fall under the purview of being a general manager. And like, everybody thinks, oh, it's about roster building. Like that's like 25% of it. You've got to worry about hiring coaches and hiring athletic trainers and hiring medical staff and managing a billion other things. And that's just like the start of the year. The rest of the time, you're putting out fires.
Yep.
Like a player's wife gets in a car accident at 12:30 in the morning and in a place where they probably shouldn't be. And you have to help them get home because that player's freaking out.
Yeah.
Like it's the stuff that happens endlessly. Or I don't know, your players get pulled over driving a yellow Hummer. And the entire team bus drives by them and sees them pulled over. And you have to deal with the press and the police. And all the stupid stuff that comes up with that. All right, but coming up next, we will dive back into more quarterback play, but it's on the NFL side. Some news and notes around the NFL. Quarterbacks that aren't playing, quarterbacks that are getting more weapons, and quarterbacks that are taking over teams that maybe shouldn't.
Camp is here. Camp is here, everybody.
Rejoice. But first, it's the Big Kahuna with Sports Center Update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
This is a Big Ten Media Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, after dropping 2 of 3 to the Astros over the weekend, the Mariners start a 3-game set with the Angels at T-Mobile Park. Bryce Miller on the hill for Seattle. Tyler Anderson for LA. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Mariners and Astros are tied at the top of the American League West. In the NFL, as the Packers begin training camp today, quarterback Jordan Love has told the team he won't practice until he gets a contract extension. GM Brian Gutekunst says it's possible they could agree to a deal in the next few days. In the association, Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting free agent guard Spencer Dinwiddie has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Mavericks. And on the ice, the Winterhawks announced Mike Johnson will step away from his role as head coach, but he has signed a 4-year extension to remain with the team as president and general manager. Longtime assistant Kyle Gustafson will take over head coaching duties. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The original home of The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays 9 to noon, 1080 The Fan.
NFL camp is upon us as we're approaching July rapidly. Some news and notes, all related to quarterbacks. First of all, the quarterback that's not there. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love is not playing until he gets a new deal, which I think is becoming SOP at this point in time. Don't risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, but this time it was Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of general manager of the Green Bay Packers. He came out and he's the one that said it. He said he reported, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not going to let him play until he gets practice until he gets his deal done, which that's always code for we're very close.
Yeah.
We are very close to,
so don't
to
screw it up.
reaching the end. And if you have an injury that happens at practice during that time, then all of a sudden you get into the insurance aspect of it. And that's where his money can go away just as quickly as it got there for him. And the team can say, oh, no, we made a horrible decision.
He tears his Achilles and all of a sudden
that changes dramatically.
This is the same thing we're talking about with Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets and him not signing his deal while he's playing for Team Canada.
But this all kind of feels as if they are very close.
Yeah.
And everything that Jordan Love has done since he took over for Aaron Rodgers, he has been steady and he has been solid for them. Last year, the growth that you saw out of Jordan Love was immeasurable, and it looks like Green Bay found their quarterback
again.
I mean, they're going to go until like 2032 without having a different quarterback.
They're going to go 60 years with three quarterbacks.
They're going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers of
Coaches.
quarterbacks. Like what the Steelers are to coaching, the Packers are going to be for quarterback play. And it's amazing that they've had that eye on development and talent, and they've been able to squeeze.
Favre was 94.
That much. 93 or 92, he got traded from Atlanta to Green Bay.
So and then he had
I think it might have been. I think it was 93 is when he took over.
So they're going to go 30 plus years with three quarterbacks.
Yeah, and
have a legitimate chance to push it to 40
without and obviously
we
remember
start.
Matt Flynn,
yes.
Everybody,
but I mean as far as like
stability, man,
yes.
and who your guy is, it's incredible what they've been able to go through.
40 years, three quarterbacks on the table.
1992 for old Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So they're at 33 years.
That's amazing
for three quarterbacks.
That would be stability, Bob. And look, they've done it the way that nobody else wants to do it, which is you have your guy and you draft somebody
early.
Waiting.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you go,
maybe the Falcons aren't dumb.
Nah. I mean, drafting Michael Penix,
not dumb.
Not dumb at all.
No.
Not dumb at all. But
paying Kirk Cousins that money? Probably. So that's the news out of the Packers camp. Keeping in the NFC North.
Schefter's saying he may be the highest paid quarterback ever.
Which
next guy up, I think that may be a little steep, but if he's going to be your guy for the next 10 years.
But the thing is also the Packers notoriously don't do that.
Yeah.
So I have look, Schefter's as plugged in as it gets. But until that happens, I have a hard time seeing it.
Paying the freight when you're the next guy up.
But even then, the Packers still haven't.
It'll be.
There's always been something in the language. It's like not quite.
Yeah, with the quarterbacks though they have.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave Rodgers a butt ton of money.
Well, he also had multiple MVPs at that time.
Yeah, buddy.
So it's not that Jordan Love is unproven. It's just that he's not that proven.
Yeah.
I think there's levels to it. Keeping in the NFC North, the Vikings, after using that draft pick, as we talked about when the Big Ten quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, appear to be going with another quasi-Big Ten quarterback. He played in the Pac-12. But Sam Darnold, old big head, is going to be taking the reps of the first team.
Look, I think that this is expected. It's kind of what the Minnesota Vikings were signaling through the entirety of the draft process. And when they drafted J.J. McCarthy and they brought him in, it was, no, we also have Sam Darnold. We're going to let McCarthy grow and develop as we see fit. I think the bigger issue there with Minnesota camp is TJ Hawkinson is still recovering from a torn ACL he suffered in December. They put him on the PUP list to start camp.
His knee went backwards?
That, I mean, they say he's still well ahead of schedule. When you get him, I think you're also going to see J.J. McCarthy getting more reps. Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, said, hey, we're going to give McCarthy reps with the first team because we drafted him 10th overall. We're going to give him that chance and that opportunity. But I don't think you start seeing that ramp up until they have TJ Hawkinson healthy, because he's your safety blanket for your quarterback. And having a young quarterback, you want to have a tight end that can be that outlet. You know you're going to be good on the outside with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. You're going to be really damn good in the backfield as well. But what you need is that safety blanket with TJ Hawkinson, and hopefully he's able to go sometime soon, because he is a fun-ass player to watch. Iowa.
No, I mean Iowa tight ends. It's the one exciting thing out of that team. Like they love them some tight ends. On other quarterback news, the greatest quarterback on the planet got another weapon. Patrick Mahomes gets Xavier Worthy, and guess what? They're doing things, because apparently giving Patrick Mahomes a wide receiver that runs a 4.2 140 is problematic.
That highlight that we saw of Mahomes just getting loose and just throwing it up there, and the DB looking helpless, trying to chase after Xavier Worthy. They are going to be scary, and this is what I was talking about throughout the draft process last year. When you have 13 guys with a first-round grade at wide receiver alone, the teams at the back end of the first round who have established quarterbacks, the rich will get richer. And look no further than the Kansas City Chiefs going, oh, we can have a cheap, young speedster that's going to force defenses to take eyes off of Travis Kelce. Oh, weird. And make no mistake, where he was lined up in that highlight, he was lined up in the slot, right? So he's taking a safety out. So guess who can operate in the middle of the field? Number 87.
We've seen this before with a guy named Tyreek Hill.
And look, that's the chess match.
It's the same kind of speed.
It's the chess match that Andy Reid loves to play, which is, we are going to put your safeties in a bind. We are going to force you guys to take the lesser of two evils. And the lesser of two evils for every defense is deep. They always have the confidence we can rally to anything underneath. We are going to force you vertically. And now that you can unlock this with Xavier Worthy, if he's lined up in the slot, it's a mismatch, no matter who is defending him, because you don't have anybody that has that kind of speed.
The interesting thing is, watching this clip a few times, the hilarious part is Mahomes underthrows him.
Yeah.
He's got to slow down for it.
Yep.
And
he still had a step.
He still had a step on him.
Pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, you sit here and watch it, you're like, he's got 3 steps on him, and then he doesn't. All right, when we come back, a little more NFL quarterback notes as one owner falls on the sword. Danny and Dusty, today, the Fan.
The
Tell your children not to walk my way.
Cincinnati Bengals have been a tire fire for quite some time, and it's pretty much coincided with ownership.
You know what? They figured it out.
Well, figuring it out means drafting a generational quarterback and having him solve all your problems, certainly.
And then a generational wide receiver and hiring a competent head coach and your owner getting out of the way of being a cheap ass.
Which he got out of the way in that vein. But Mike Brown says today in an interview that he got in the way last year and he feels stupid about it.
One day at practice, you picked up Joe Burrow on your golf cart and you drove him around practice and then took him back. Do you remember that conversation and what was said there? And also, what is your relationship like in general with Joe Burrow?
I try to stay away enough that I don't get in the way. I don't want to be a problem for the coaches. On that particular, in that particular moment, I overstepped and did a dumb thing. I was convinced he shouldn't play, and he looked like he wanted to play in that game, and I went out there to tell him he wasn't going to play. I was going to make sure he wasn't going to play, whereupon he played. And so that's all that happened. I still feel a little bit shamefaced about it.
If you're wondering, that man sounds like he's 90 years old because he's 88 years old. But yeah, that's 88-year-old Mike Brown talking about how he told Joe Burrow he wasn't going to play, and then Joe Burrow played. It's kind of interesting that the owner said no, and yet he still played.
Yeah, well, that is Mike Brown to a T. Is that I was going to go out there and tell him you're not going out there, Pally, and Joe Burrow's like, yeah, no, you pay me a lot of money. I want to go out. I want to win, and I'll be damned if Joe Burrow didn't probably throw for 300 yards that day.
The interesting thing there is, as a coach and a general manager, to tell your owner no.
Yeah, well, it's the training staff, and that's where you can always lean back on is training
said,
staff to overrule the
They
owner.
overruled the owner.
You could say no, he's going to play, and old Joey B, he's got that dog in him, man, and that's the biggest difference with the Cincinnati Bengals is you said it, getting the generational quarterback. It doesn't matter. Like, look at Brady and Kraft, right?
It papers over everything.
That guy will be able to tell the owner whatever the hell he wants to because he is the franchise. And anytime you have an owner who can't get out of his own way, like Mike Brown, having that quarterback that can slide in, and Dallas doesn't have that guy. Jerry Jones is still getting in the way.
I saw somebody tweet out today that the possible extensions that are out there for top tier players, and Dak Prescott was listed, and I audibly guffawed.
Well, you're going to do it when he gets his deal.
You think they're going to pay him?
I don't think they're going to pay him this offseason. Somebody will do it.
Well, I'm saying their extension.
Somebody will do it.
Please not the Raiders. Please not the Raiders. Please not the Raiders.
Dak Prescott, your starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Please, God, no.
They don't have a quarterback. They need one.
I'd rather be quarterbackless.
You'd rather go out?
I'd rather just...
Would you rather have another year with Jimmy G, bring Jimmy G back?
Yes. Yes, because he would not hamstring the franchise for 5 years.
Well, hey, you can have... This year you get Gardner Minshew, which is going to be a
Fun.
journey. It's going to be an experience.
Yeah. The
And
Gardner
then you'll
Minshew
have
experience. Sign me
AOC
up.
when the clock strikes midnight, and ultimately it will because I love Gardner Minshew, but we all know he's got his shelf life.
Yep.
Clock will hit midnight, and you'll go to Aiden O'Connell.
Go to the pumpkin.
And all of a sudden, you will be living in Antonio Pierce quotes that we want to upgrade the quarterback position, but we still have AOC
To fall back on.